The pyramids rise, silent and imposing, their ancient stones standing as a testament to a civilization that once ruled the known world. Yet, despite centuries of study, the true secrets of ancient Egypt remain elusive. How did they move massive stones across vast distances with no advanced technology? What ancient wisdom did they unlock to build structures that have withstood the test of time? And why do they still inspire awe in modern minds? There are questions that linger in the shadowed halls of history, questions that have baffled scholars, scientists, and archaeologists alike. From the enigma of the lost tombs of pharaohs to the cryptic symbols hidden in plain sight, the ancient Egyptians left behind a legacy both brilliant and mystifying. But some mysteries refuse to fade into the past. Some are so complex, so mind-bending, that even in 2025, we still don't have answers. What if the truth is far stranger than we can imagine? So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the unsolved mysteries of ancient Egypt, secrets that continue to captivate the world, even today. The Great Sphinx of Giza stands as a powerful and mysterious symbol of ancient Egypt. Carved from a single limestone block, its massive form, half human, half lion, gazes across the desert, guarding the entrance to a history that continues to baffle us. For centuries, explorers, archaeologists, and historians have been drawn to its silent watch over the pyramids, captivated by its grandeur and the enigma it represents. Its enormous paws stretch across the earth, as though keeping something hidden beneath. Constructed during the reign of the Pharaoh Khufu, around 2500 BC, the Sphinx is believed to represent the king himself. Yet, despite its imposing presence, questions linger about its true purpose and whether something even more extraordinary might lie buried beneath it. This monument stands as a testament to a grand civilization, but beneath its stone exterior, some believe there is more to discover. Various accounts suggest that the Sphinx may conceal a labyrinth of chambers and tunnels. These chambers, if they exist, remain unexplored or even unseen. While the Sphinx's exterior has been meticulously studied and documented, its interior remains a subject of intense speculation and intrigue. The idea of hidden chambers beneath the Sphinx began to surface in the 19th century, following the discovery of what appeared to be an opening in the stone, though it has never been conclusively verified. In 1817, British explorer Giovanni Caviglia led an excavation around the Sphinx, uncovering several small tunnels and chambers beneath the monument. Some passages seemed to descend into the earth, but were blocked or filled with debris. Subsequent attempts to explore these depths have yielded little in the way of clear evidence. In 1936, Egyptologist Dr. Salim Hassan published a study that hinted at the existence of a large chamber beneath the Sphinx's paws. He suggested this chamber could hold valuable knowledge about Egypt's lost past. This idea was further bolstered by the discovery of the so-called Hall of Records, a proposed hidden repository of sacred knowledge. Some believe this mysterious hall contains ancient texts or scrolls that could explain the true origins of Egyptian civilization or reveal knowledge of lost technologies. Despite these intriguing reports, there is little physical evidence to support the existence of any hidden chambers beneath the Sphinx. What has been discovered are strange anomalies in the stonework, unusual formations in the surrounding bedrock, and faint traces of tunnels too old to have been created by later civilizations. However, no clear path has been found that leads to any definitive discovery. Mainstream archaeologists remain skeptical of these claims, citing a lack of concrete evidence. Some argue that any passages were likely filled in due to the monument's restoration or natural erosion over time. The idea of a Hall of Records is often dismissed as mere speculation, tied to fringe theories about lost civilizations and ancient advanced technology. Though compelling, these ideas remain unsupported by hard evidence. Nevertheless, more speculative theories persist, including the notion that the chambers beneath the Sphinx could hold evidence of a civilization that predates even the dynastic Egyptians. Some theorists propose that the Sphinx itself could be far older than traditionally thought, perhaps dating back to a time when the Sahara was lush and green, suggesting it was built as early as 10,000 BC, long before Egypt's rise as a powerful civilization. These theories, however, are largely unsupported by mainstream scholars, who maintain that the Sphinx's construction aligns with Khafra's reign during the Old Kingdom. Yet, questions about the monument's purpose and what might lie beneath it continue to intrigue. Could there be a truth buried beneath the sands of time, waiting to be uncovered? Are hidden chambers or artifacts buried deep within the Sphinx that could rewrite our understanding of ancient Egypt? Or is the idea of these chambers simply the product of our fascination with the unknown, a belief that hidden truths still await discovery? The absence of conclusive evidence only deepens the mystery. Excavations continue, but they provide no definitive answers, only more questions. Modern technology, such as ground-penetrating radar, offers hope that we might one day uncover the hidden chambers, if they indeed exist. But for now, the Sphinx remains as silent and unmoving as ever, its gaze fixed over the desert sands. Could a forgotten history still lie just beneath this ancient monument, waiting to be discovered? Or will the secrets of the Sphinx remain locked away, lost to time forever? The answers may remain just out of reach, waiting for the right moment to be revealed, as we continue to search for what lies beneath. As we turn our attention from the enigmatic Sphinx, let us now explore an artifact of equally intriguing mystery: the Shen amulet. Small yet powerful, it has survived millennia, bearing symbols of meaning that continue to elude definitive understanding. The Shen, with its circular design and looping, intertwined form, is more than just an ornamental piece of jewelry. It was an object of great significance in the ancient Egyptian world, yet the full depth of its symbolism remains shrouded in mystery. The amulet itself is simple in structure: a ring, sometimes encircling a central loop, often with two perpendicular lines extending outward. This seemingly straightforward shape is, in reality, one of the most enduring and iconic symbols of ancient Egypt. Its elegance is in its simplicity. Its meaning, however, is anything but. The Shen amulet was commonly depicted in Egyptian art and often associated with the gods, particularly the god Horus and the goddess Isis. It is thought to symbolize eternity, protection, and divine power, often appearing in funerary contexts, placed with the deceased to ward off evil spirits and to ensure safe passage into the afterlife. Yet, despite its frequent use in the Egyptian world, the true nature of the Shen's symbolism and origins remains elusive. Scholars agree that the Shen is often linked to the concept of eternity. But why was this particular symbol chosen to represent such an abstract and far-reaching idea? What were its origins, and how did it come to hold such profound significance for the ancient Egyptians? Many theories abound, but none have provided a conclusive answer. Mainstream Egyptologists often describe the Shen as a simple loop that symbolizes the cyclical nature of life, eternal, unbroken, and ongoing. The circular shape of the amulet has been interpreted as representing the sun, or the endless flow of time, ideas that fit well with the Egyptian worldview of an eternal cosmos, where life and death are inextricably linked. It could also be a representation of the sun disk, or the circle of protection that encircles a deity or the pharaoh. In this sense, it would have been viewed as a powerful emblem, offering both the physical and metaphysical protection of the gods. However, there are aspects of the Shen that challenge the idea of a straightforward symbolic object. For example, some versions of the Shen feature lines or geometric patterns within or around the circle. These subtle variations have led some to suggest that the amulet's meaning may have extended beyond mere protection and eternity. Was it a symbol of divine authority, a marker of royal power, or celestial influence? The lack of definitive texts to explain these variations leaves room for debate and further speculation. But perhaps the most striking mystery surrounding the Shen is its mysterious origins. Some scholars believe that the Shen amulet was not originally an Egyptian symbol at all, but rather an import, possibly from a civilization that existed before Egypt itself. Could it be that the Egyptians adopted this symbol from a forgotten culture, one with a deeper understanding of the cosmos or spiritual practices now lost to history? Evidence for this theory remains speculative, yet it continues to captivate those who search for connections between ancient civilizations. One fringe theory even suggests that the Shen was not simply a religious or cultural symbol, but that it may have served a more practical or technological function, perhaps as a marker of astronomical knowledge. The Egyptians were keenly aware of celestial cycles, and the circular form of the Shen might represent not only an abstract concept of eternity, but also a device for tracking the movement of the stars or the sun. Some have even posited that the shape of the amulet was intentionally designed to mirror the motion of the celestial bodies in the night sky. This theory, while intriguing, lacks the evidence needed to confirm it, leaving us to wonder whether the Shen amulet held a deeper, more scientific purpose than we currently understand. As with many aspects of ancient Egyptian culture, the Shen amulet defies a clear-cut explanation. The symbolism it carries, the origins it holds, and the variety of interpretations it invites all suggest that there is still much we do not know. Was it merely a protective talisman, or did it carry deeper, more esoteric meanings, perhaps even encoded knowledge from a forgotten time? We may never have a definitive answer, but the allure of the Shen amulet is that, like so many aspects of Egyptian civilization, its true nature remains tantalizingly beyond our grasp. And so, as we continue to explore the many mysteries of ancient Egypt, we are left with a question that lingers unanswered. What does the Shen amulet truly represent, and what secrets does it still keep hidden, even now, after thousands of years? Is it merely a symbol of eternity? Or could it hold the key to an ancient knowledge we have yet to uncover? As we move away from the Shen amulet, we now focus on a series of carvings of great historical significance located at the temple complex at Abydos. These carvings, often referred to as the Flower of Life, have long intrigued scholars, spiritual seekers, and historians alike. What do these intricate patterns represent? Why were they etched into the walls of such an ancient temple? And what knowledge, if any, do they hold? At first glance, the Flower of Life carvings may appear simple, yet their geometric complexity has captivated those who study them. The design consists of overlapping circles, arranged to form a flower-like shape, which is how the carving earned its name. These patterns are found on the walls of the Osirian, the Temple of Osiris at Abydos, and are thought to date back to the New Kingdom period of ancient Egypt, around 1300 BC. Despite their age, the true purpose and meaning of the Flower of Life carvings remain elusive, much like the history of the site itself. The Osirian at Abydos is considered a temple dedicated to Osiris, the god of the afterlife. However, the Flower of Life motif does not seem directly connected to Osiris in the same way as other symbols or imagery within the temple. Instead, this geometric design invites interpretation, an interpretation that has evolved over centuries. The carving features patterns that seem to convey a universal design principle, one that transcends cultures and eras, leaving many to ponder its significance. Scholars have long debated the meaning of the Flower of Life. Some view it as a decorative motif, part of Egypt's broader tradition of symbolic ornamentation. Others suggest it holds deeper metaphysical significance, possibly representing the structure of life itself, the connection between the divine and the natural world, or even the fabric of the cosmos. This geometric design appears in other ancient cultures, from Greece to China, suggesting a shared understanding of sacred geometry, a universal language of patterns and shapes. One of the most intriguing theories is that the Flower of Life holds knowledge beyond the temporal bounds of the New Kingdom. The pattern bears resemblance to the seed of life, a symbol often used to describe the process of creation and the interconnectedness of all living things. Some modern theorists claim the Flower of Life encodes secrets about the universe's fundamental principles, including advanced mathematics, spiritual wisdom, or even knowledge lost to time. However, these theories are not without controversy. Many Egyptologists argue that the Flower of Life is merely a decorative motif with no deeper esoteric meaning. Yet, the complexity of the carving, its widespread presence across different cultures, and its recurring appearance in temples dedicated to important deities like Osiris suggest there may be more to it than mere ornamentation. Could the Egyptians, like other ancient civilizations, have seen something in these patterns that we have yet to fully understand? Some speculate that the Flower of Life might hold mystical significance. The interconnectedness of the circles could represent a cosmic unity, reflecting the Egyptians' understanding of the afterlife and the cycles of death and rebirth. If the Flower of Life was meant to serve as a bridge between the material world and the divine, it could have played a crucial role in religious and spiritual practices. But was it merely symbolic, or did it contain deeper knowledge of the natural world, as some suggest? Alternative history proponents even suggest that the Flower of Life may encode knowledge about energy fields, sacred vibrations, or even principles of geometry and harmony that the Egyptians, or earlier civilizations, could have used for healing, construction, or spiritual enlightenment. These ideas, while intriguing, remain speculative, as there is no conclusive archaeological or historical evidence to support them. Despite the numerous theories and interpretations, the Flower of Life remains a profound mystery. The true meaning of these carvings and the knowledge they may contain continues to elude us. Was it simply a decorative motif, or was it a map? A guide to the universe's secrets encoded in geometry and divine order? Or could it be a symbol of life's eternal cycles, representing the interconnectedness of all things, from the smallest seed to the vast cosmos? As we continue to explore the mysteries of ancient Egypt, the Flower of Life stands as a reminder that even in a world of known facts, there are still pieces of the puzzle left hidden. The carvings at Abydos may never fully reveal their secrets, but the questions they raise will undoubtedly continue to spark curiosity for generations to come. What might we still be missing, hidden in plain sight, etched into the ancient stones of Egypt's temples? Perhaps only time will tell. Through this enduring mystery, the Flower of Life at Abydos challenges us to look beyond the surface, urging us to consider what may remain concealed from our understanding of history, knowledge, and the universe itself. As we continue to explore the mysteries of ancient Egypt, we now turn our attention to a peculiar object found in Saqqara, one of Egypt's most significant archaeological sites. This object, often referred to as the bird-shaped artifact, is a small but remarkable piece of ancient craftsmanship that has baffled archaeologists and historians for over a century. Saqqara, renowned for its vast necropolis and the step pyramid of Djoser, has been the site of countless discoveries. Amid its tombs and burial shafts, this artifact was uncovered in the 19th century, but its exact purpose and origin remain unclear. Made of wood and shaped like a bird with outstretched wings, the object measures only a few inches long but is striking in its design. Its symmetry and craftsmanship reflect the ancient Egyptians' typical attention to detail, admired even today. However, its shape and the questions it raises set it apart from other discoveries. At first glance, the bird seems to be a simple figurine, perhaps an offering or a symbolic representation of flight, a common theme in Egyptian art. Birds, especially falcons and vultures, held powerful symbolism in ancient Egypt, often associated with gods like Horus and Nekhbet. These birds represented divine protection, the afterlife, and the soul's transcendence. However, as with many artifacts from this ancient civilization, determining the true symbolism of the bird-shaped object is more complex than it initially appears. Mainstream scholars suggest that the artifact was likely a decorative or symbolic object, possibly part of a larger burial ritual or an offering to the gods. Its shape could represent the soul's journey, a metaphor for flight toward the afterlife. In this interpretation, the bird serves as a symbol of spiritual ascent, a central theme in Egyptian religion, where the deceased's soul was often depicted as flying toward the heavens. While this explanation fits within the broader context of Egyptian beliefs, it doesn't fully account for the strange and intricate design of the object. Yet, the artifact's unusual shape has inspired more speculative theories. Some observers note that the bird bears a striking resemblance to modern aerodynamics, particularly the shape of a glider or even an early flying machine. While this comparison may seem far-fetched, it has sparked curiosity among those who believe that the ancient Egyptians may have understood flight long before it was thought technologically possible. Could this artifact be evidence of lost knowledge of aerodynamics, hinting at a sophisticated understanding of flight that predates the modern era by millennia? One theory proposes that the bird could be a model or prototype of a glider-like machine. Though speculative, this idea draws from the observation that the artifact's wings and body resemble the principles of flight found in modern glider designs. Could the Egyptians have developed an understanding of flight by studying nature and aerodynamics? This theory challenges our traditional understanding of their technological capabilities. However, it is important to note that there is no direct evidence to suggest that the artifact was anything more than a symbolic object, perhaps the product of artistic imagination or a simple depiction of a bird. Others offer a more spiritual interpretation, suggesting the artifact represents the Ba, the part of the soul that could leave the body and travel between the realms of the living and the dead. In Egyptian belief, the Ba was often shown as a bird, symbolizing the soul's ability to move between the material world and the divine. In this context, the bird-shaped object may not just symbolize physical flight, but rather represent the spiritual journey of the deceased in the afterlife. Could it have been placed with the dead to guide or protect the soul, aiding its transition from the earthly realm to the divine? Despite the various theories and interpretations, the true meaning of the bird-shaped artifact remains elusive. The lack of conclusive evidence leaves room for multiple interpretations. Was it merely an artistic representation of a bird with symbolic ties to the afterlife, or could it be something more, an object hinting at lost knowledge of flight, far beyond our current understanding? What is certain is that this artifact, like many others from ancient Egypt, resists simple explanations. It serves as a reminder that the mysteries of ancient Egypt are far from resolved, and even the smallest, seemingly straightforward objects may hold hidden layers of meaning and knowledge. The questions surrounding the bird-shaped artifact are as vast as the desert skies over Saqqara. Could this small wooden bird conceal a secret that we are not yet ready to fully comprehend? Or is it simply a representation of the Egyptians' profound connection to the divine and the afterlife? While the answers may remain elusive, the mystery continues to captivate, encouraging us to look deeper and reconsider the ancient world in ways we have yet to fully understand. Perhaps one day, future discoveries or advancements in technology will shed light on the true significance of this artifact. Until then, the bird-shaped object will remain a symbol of the enigmatic genius of ancient Egypt, inviting us to explore the unknown and to question our understanding of the past. As we continue our journey through the heart of Egypt's enduring mysteries, we encounter one of the most iconic and perplexing enigmas of all, the missing capstone of the Great Pyramid of Giza. This pyramid, the largest of the three on the Giza Plateau, has captivated civilizations for millennia. Its monumental scale, precision, and the mystery surrounding its construction continue to intrigue scholars and enthusiasts alike. But amid all the awe-inspiring features of the Great Pyramid, one question persists. What happened to its capstone? The Great Pyramid was once crowned with a shining capstone, known as the pyramidion, which would have been a small, pointed stone, possibly crafted from a different material than the limestone that constitutes the rest of the pyramid. Historical records suggest it was covered in gold or electrum, an alloy of gold and silver, allowing it to shine brightly under the Egyptian sun. From a distance, its gleam would have been visible for miles, symbolizing the divine power of the pharaoh who commissioned the pyramid as their eternal resting place. Today, however, the Great Pyramid stands incomplete, its apex bare, a glaring absence that has sparked curiosity for centuries. This gap atop one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world is more than a physical void. It is a symbol of the many unanswered questions surrounding the pyramid's construction, purpose, and the fate of its most revered component. Mainstream history offers several possible explanations for the missing capstone. The most widely accepted view is that it was removed in antiquity, perhaps during the early Islamic period or by later invaders. Many stones from Egypt's monuments were repurposed over the centuries for new construction. The capstone, being made of precious materials, would have been an attractive target for treasure hunters. Over time, the structure may have deteriorated, and the capstone was taken, either through theft or destruction, leaving the pyramid incomplete. Yet this explanation does not fully account for the symbolic and profound significance of the pyramid's apex. Why would such an important element of the pyramid's design disappear without a trace? What if the removal of the capstone was not random, but part of a deliberate act? This idea opens the door to alternative theories that challenge conventional historical understanding. One fringe theory suggests that the capstone was never removed, but rather never existed. This theory proposes that the Great Pyramid was originally designed to remain incomplete, with the missing capstone symbolizing the pharaoh's transition from the physical world to the divine. In this view, the pyramid's construction was never truly finished until the afterlife. The absence of the capstone would then represent the incompleteness of mortal existence and the continuous journey of the soul, rather than a loss or removal. Other theories speculate that the capstone served a mystical or astronomical function. The pyramid is famously aligned with incredible precision to the cardinal points, and its design reflects deep astronomical knowledge. Some researchers suggest that the capstone might have been part of a cosmic system, marking celestial events or serving as an astronomical tool. If made of gold or electrum, it could have reflected sunlight, acting as a beacon that drew attention to the divine power of the pharaoh or even marking an important astronomical event. Further speculative theories propose that the capstone had a technological function. The pyramid itself, with its precise engineering and alignment, might have been part of a larger system of energy or power. In this scenario, the capstone could have been a component of an energy-generating system, harnessing the natural forces of the earth and sun. Though controversial, this theory suggests that the pyramid's missing apex may be tied to ancient technology, one that could have harnessed energy in ways we cannot fully comprehend today. Despite these theories, one fact remains. The Great Pyramid's capstone is missing, and its fate is unknown. For centuries, it has eluded discovery, leaving behind a mystery that continues to intrigue researchers, historians, and those drawn to Egypt's ancient past. Was the capstone taken as a treasure, or was its removal part of a more deliberate process? Could it have held a secret, one we have yet to uncover? The absence of the capstone leaves us with a tantalizing void at the pinnacle of the Great Pyramid. an enduring reminder that even in a world brimming with archaeological discoveries, some mysteries remain unsolved. What might have been hidden within that missing piece? And why, after all these years, has it never been reclaimed? These questions echo across the sands of time, urging us to continue searching and looking deeper into the secrets that the Great Pyramid still holds. The disappearance of the capstone is just one more piece of the puzzle, and perhaps, like the pyramid itself, this mystery will remain incomplete, forever unsolved. As we leave behind the mystery of the Great Pyramid's missing capstone, we now turn to another fascinating enigma of ancient Egypt, the lost Labyrinth of Hawara. Located in the Faiyum oasis south of Cairo, the site of Hawara is renowned for its funerary monuments and the tomb of Pharaoh Akhenaten II. However, it is the legend of the lost labyrinth that continues to captivate the imaginations of archaeologists, historians, and adventurers alike. The labyrinth is said to have been one of the ancient world's most remarkable structures, a grand architectural feat rivaling the pyramids. Descriptions date back to the time of Herodotus in the 5th century BC, who claimed it contained 3,000 rooms, both above and below ground. These rooms, filled with inscriptions, formed a complex of corridors, chambers, and courtyards. According to Herodotus, the labyrinth wasn't just a physical structure, but a reflection of the god's power, embodying monumental architecture with sacred meaning. Despite the detailed descriptions from ancient writers, no definitive evidence of the labyrinth's existence has been found. The mystery of the lost labyrinth is not only its disappearance, but the possibility that it was intentionally erased from history. These grand descriptions, though seemingly fantastical, appear in multiple ancient sources, not just Herodotus. Writers like Strabo, Pliny the Elder, and Diodorus also mention it, but none have conclusively identified the labyrinth's ruins. The most widely accepted theory is that the labyrinth stood at Hawara, associated with Amenemhat II's Middle Kingdom reign. Archaeologists have uncovered the temple of Amenemhat II, which contains a large mound that may once have supported the labyrinth. This mound has been the focus of numerous investigations, yet no one has confirmed it as the labyrinth described in ancient texts. The descriptions of the labyrinth vary, with some ancient writers depicting it as so complex it was almost impossible to navigate. Filled with hundreds of columns and intricately carved walls, the labyrinth stretched endlessly. Others claimed the labyrinth had symbolic meaning, linking the realms of gods and humans through its twisting paths. Could it have been a place of worship dedicated to the Egyptian gods? Was it a funerary monument or a temple to honor the pharaohs and the divine forces of the afterlife? As time passed, the labyrinth faded from memory, and many speculated that it had been buried beneath the sands. There is little physical evidence pointing to its exact location, leading scholars to speculate about its fate. Some suggest the labyrinth was destroyed by later rulers or invaders who dismantled it for its materials. Others think natural forces like erosion or shifting sands may have obscured its once grand presence. Speculative theories go beyond the physical structure, suggesting the labyrinth might have symbolized ancient Egyptian knowledge and power. Could it have been an intellectual labyrinth, a repository of esoteric texts or sacred knowledge? Some propose that it was designed as a sacred space, a microcosm of the world itself, built to house the secrets of the cosmos and the afterlife. In this view, the labyrinth's disappearance could symbolize a lost knowledge, hidden to protect it from time and human corruption. A particularly intriguing theory posits that the labyrinth wasn't merely destroyed, but intentionally hidden to protect its sacred knowledge. If the labyrinth held wisdom or power deemed too great for mortals, could it have been concealed, buried beneath earth and sand, guarded by the forces that created it? This idea evokes lost civilizations, where ancient knowledge was deliberately sealed away to preserve its sanctity. Despite the many theories, one crucial question remains unanswered. Where is the labyrinth? Some researchers believe it could be buried beneath the pyramid complex at Hawara, hidden beneath the same sands that have preserved the pyramids. Others suggest it lies beneath modern structures built over the ruins, or that it might still await discovery in an unexcavated area of the site. Though the mound at Hawara has been studied extensively, no definitive discoveries have been made. What makes the mystery of the lost labyrinth so captivating is not just its elusive nature, but the possibility that it holds something far beyond its physical structure, something that could unlock a deeper understanding of ancient Egypt's view of the cosmos, the divine, and the afterlife. If the labyrinth truly existed, what was its purpose? Was it an architectural marvel, or did it serve a more profound role in the ancient Egyptian worldview? The story of the lost labyrinth remains unfinished, its chapters yet to be written. As we stand at the edge of history, looking over the site of Hawara, we are left with a haunting thought. What else lies buried in the sands of Egypt, waiting to be discovered? What other secrets, perhaps even more incredible than the labyrinth itself, remain hidden in the shadows of time? The enigma of the lost labyrinth endures, an invitation to continue searching, to explore, and to wonder what truths the sands may still hold. As we continue exploring the mysteries surrounding the Great Pyramid of Giza, we now focus on an anomaly that has puzzled scientists for years: unexplained heat readings within its walls. Built around 2570 BC during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, the Great Pyramid stands as the largest of the three pyramids on the Giza Plateau. Its scale, precision, and celestial alignment continue to amaze scholars. Yet, hidden beneath its limestone exterior, something defies explanation: unexplained heat anomalies emanating from its structure. In the late 20th century, researchers using thermographic technology began detecting temperature differences across the pyramid's surface. These heat anomalies were not random. They appeared to be concentrated in specific areas, particularly along the northern side. Some sections of the pyramid were found to be significantly warmer than others, even when accounting for factors like time of day or weather. The temperature differences were substantial, raising questions that have yet to be fully answered. What makes these anomalies particularly strange is that they do not correspond to known sources of heat, such as sunlight or internal ventilation. The pyramid was built without modern conveniences, yet the heat readings persist in specific areas, seemingly unaffected by environmental changes. Could these temperature differences result from natural phenomena, or do they point to something more mysterious, perhaps an undiscovered energy system, hidden chamber, or ancient technology? Mainstream scientific explanations have focused on potential geological causes. Some believe the heat might be linked to the surrounding bedrock, which could conduct heat from beneath the Earth's surface. Others suggest solar radiation might be responsible, with the pyramid's surface absorbing and releasing heat over time. While these theories are plausible, they do not explain the consistent locations of the heat anomalies. A more intriguing theory suggests the heat might be linked to something within the pyramid itself. In 1993, researchers using infrared thermography detected a distinct heat pattern along the pyramid's northern face. This area had a higher temperature than its surroundings, sparking speculation that it could mark the location of an unseen chamber or passage. Such a space might be artificially heated or contain something, an object, mechanism, or energy source, unknown to modern science. The possibility of hidden chambers is not new. For years, archaeologists have speculated that there may be undiscovered spaces within the pyramid, particularly in unexplored sections. Some have even hypothesized that the pyramid was designed to harness or store energy, a concept that suggests the ancient Egyptians had advanced knowledge of technology. Could the heat anomalies be evidence of such a system? An energy source, a power grid, or something else entirely? This idea leads to more speculative theories. Some fringe researchers propose that the unexplained heat readings could signal an advanced technology, one that the ancient Egyptians may have possessed but lost to history. These theories suggest the pyramid was not just a tomb but a complex machine designed to channel and amplify energy, perhaps harnessing the forces of the earth or the sun. In this view, the heat anomalies could be residual effects of an ancient power system whose true purpose was forgotten over time. Could the pyramid have been built as a gigantic energy generator with a far more complex purpose than we've ever imagined? Another, more mystical theory suggests the heat anomalies could be linked to the pyramid's spiritual significance. In ancient Egyptian belief, pyramids were not just tombs, but divine structures connecting the earth to the heavens. Some theorists suggest that the pyramid might have been built to channel cosmic or spiritual energy, with the heat anomalies representing this flow. If the pyramid was a center of spiritual power, could these unusual temperature patterns be manifestations of that energy? Signs that the pyramid is still, in some way, alive and vibrating with forces we don't yet understand? Despite the many theories, the cause of the heat anomalies remains a mystery. Researchers continue to study the phenomenon, using more advanced technology to measure temperature variations and seek possible explanations. Yet, no matter how much we learn, there is always more to discover. The heat anomalies could be a clue, an important piece of the puzzle about the pyramid's true purpose and the advanced knowledge of the ancient Egyptians. Or they may point to a deeper complexity, suggesting that the pyramid's secrets are more elusive than we could have imagined. The mystery of the unexplained heat remains unsolved, leaving us to wonder what exactly is causing these temperature anomalies. Are they simply the result of the pyramid's materials and environment, or do they hint at a more profound truth about the Great Pyramid and the civilization that built it? As we continue to explore, the Great Pyramid stands as a reminder of how much we still have to uncover, with many questions remaining unanswered. As we shift our focus from the heat anomalies of the Great Pyramid, we now turn to one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of ancient Egypt, the uninscribed tomb of Khufu 55. Located in the Valley of the Kings, Khufu 55 remains a silent enigma, its walls devoid of inscriptions, leaving no clues to the identity of its occupant. Discovered in 1907 by archaeologist Edward Ayrton, the tomb has captivated historians and archaeologists not only because of its lack of identifying inscriptions, but also due to the extraordinary and controversial theories surrounding its occupant. Khufu 55 is unique among the tombs in the Valley of the Kings, where many tombs bear the names and titles of pharaohs and their families. But Khufu 55 is silent. While lavishly decorated in places, it offers no direct evidence of the identity of its occupant. The absence of inscriptions has led to various theories, each more intriguing than the last. We know that Khufu 55 was built during the 18th dynasty, likely around the mid-14th century BC. The tomb is relatively small compared to others in the valley, but its contents suggest that the person buried there was of high status. Among the most significant finds were mummies, one of which was initially thought to be that of Pharaoh Akhenaten. The presence of royal artifacts, including a decorated coffin, further suggested the tomb was intended for someone closely related to the pharaohs. However, when the body was uncovered, it became clear that it was not straightforward. The mummy, thought to belong to Akhenaten, showed several inconsistencies. Akhenaten, known for his revolutionary abandonment of Egypt's traditional polytheism in favor of monotheism, had distinctive features that did not fully match the remains. The face of the mummy, although elongated, did not resemble depictions of Akhenaten, leading some to question whether it was truly him. If not Akhenaten, then who? The mystery deepens with the discovery of a second partially preserved body, which many believe to be that of Akhenaten's queen, Nefertiti. Nefertiti, who ruled briefly after Akhenaten's death, has long been a figure of intrigue. Some speculate that KV-55 could be the final resting place of Nefertiti herself, either interred with Akhenaten or as the mysterious other royal female in the tomb. However, there is no direct evidence linking Nefertiti to KV-55, and her fate remains one of Egypt's greatest mysteries. One theory gaining traction suggests that KV-55 holds the remains of a key figure from the Amarna period, the time of Akhenaten's reign. Some believe the tomb may belong to a prince or a member of Akhenaten's family, possibly Tutankhamun. If this theory holds, KV-55 could be the tomb of a royal figure whose legacy was overshadowed by Tutankhamun's fame. Tutankhamun's sudden and untimely death has sparked debates about his parentage. Could KV-55 be the tomb of his father, or an early relative whose identity has been lost to history? Adding to the intrigue is the fact that the burial in KV-55 appeared rushed. The body had been embalmed in a hurried manner, and the tomb shows signs of disturbance, indicating that the person buried there may have been interred in secrecy, possibly due to political unrest or Akhenaten's radical reforms. The hasty burial and absence of inscriptions suggest that the occupant was not intended to be memorialized in the traditional way. Perhaps this was to avoid association with Akhenaten's controversial reign. The possibility of a secret burial for someone whose identity was erased adds another layer of mystery to the tomb. As researchers continue to examine the tomb, many questions remain unanswered. Could KV-55 belong to Akhenaten? Or was it a royal family member, possibly one of his sons, whose name was erased from history? Was Nefertiti secretly buried here? Or could KV-55's occupant be an entirely unknown royal figure, whose identity has yet to be revealed by modern science? Despite advances in genetic testing and studies of mummification, the true identity of the person buried in KV-55 remains undetermined. The mystery surrounding the tomb's uninscribed walls and its occupant raises questions that go beyond archaeology. Was the identity of the occupant hidden intentionally, perhaps to erase them from history or to keep their legacy buried for reasons we may never fully understand? As the tomb of KV-55 continues to be studied, it serves as a reminder that not all of Egypt's ancient secrets may ever be uncovered. Some identities may remain hidden in the sands of time, forever lost to history. But the mystery persists, urging us to delve deeper into the past and search for answers that may forever remain just out of reach. As we explore the enduring mysteries of Egypt, we now turn to one of the most perplexing enigmas, the missing mummy of Pharaoh Akhenaten. Akhenaten, born Amenhotep IV, is known for introducing monotheism to Egypt through the worship of the sun god Aten. His reign during the 18th dynasty, around 1350 BC, remains one of the most debated periods in Egyptian history. Despite his significant impact on Egypt's religious and political landscape, one crucial element of his life, his final resting place, remains a profound mystery. Akhenaten's decision to abandon Egypt's traditional pantheon of gods in favor of Aten was a revolutionary move. His new capital, Akhetaten, modern-day Amarna, reflected his break from tradition. This bold shift in Egypt's religious landscape, marked by cultural flourishing and political upheaval, alienated the powerful priesthood of Amun, leading to a period of turmoil. Akhenaten's legacy, however, is not only shaped by his religious reforms, but also by the mystery surrounding his burial and mummy, which has puzzled scholars for over a century. The first question surrounding Akhenaten is where he was buried. Despite extensive exploration of tombs and burial sites, no confirmed burial place has been found. Some scholars suggest that Akhenaten was buried in a tomb at Amarna, the city he founded. However, no tomb matching Akhenaten's identity has been identified there. Others propose that he may have been buried in a royal tomb in the Valley of the Kings, as was customary for most pharaohs. But again, no evidence has surfaced to support this claim. In 1907, a mummy was discovered in a tomb in the Valley of the Kings, initially thought to be Akhenaten's final resting place. Known as Tomb 55, the tomb contained the remains of a royal individual, but there were no identifying inscriptions. Early speculation pointed to Akhenaten's mummy, but analysis of the remains revealed inconsistencies with his known physical appearance. The mummy's features did not match the depictions of Akhenaten, leading researchers to question whether this was truly the pharaoh. Some scholars believe that Akhenaten's mummy was deliberately hidden or moved after his death. One popular theory is that following Akhenaten's controversial reign, his successor, Tutankhamun, or the priests of Amun, ordered the burial of Akhenaten's body in a secret, unmarked tomb. This could have been an effort to erase Akhenaten's legacy and protect it from further defacement. The removal of Akhenaten's remains might have been a way to prevent any glorification of a ruler whose religious reforms were seen as heretical. Another theory suggests that Akhenaten's mummy was destroyed. Ancient Egyptian tomb robbers often desecrated the remains of unpopular rulers, and it's possible that Akhenaten's body was removed and destroyed like many others. This theory would explain the absence of definitive traces of Akhenaten's mummy. Some researchers propose that Akhenaten's body may never have been buried at all. This theory suggests that his remains could have been left unburied as part of a symbolic erasure. While this contradicts known burial practices, it remains an intriguing possibility, given the extent to which Akhenaten's name and legacy were erased from history. The idea of a pharaoh's remains being left unburied challenges our understanding of ancient Egyptian customs, but is worth considering when reflecting on the efforts to erase Akhenaten's influence. The circumstances of Akhenaten's death also remain unclear. Some sources suggest that he died suddenly, possibly from illness, but there are no definitive records. If his death was sudden, it might explain the hurried, secretive nature of his burial. Alternatively, if his death was part of a larger political or religious conspiracy, the mystery surrounding his mummy could be even more complex. The mystery of Akhenaten's missing mummy continues to captivate archaeologists and Egyptologists, even after more than a century of exploration. Despite numerous searches in the Valley of the Kings, Amarna, and beyond, no final resting place for Akhenaten has been confirmed. The lack of physical evidence, combined with the erasure of his name and monuments, leaves us with an unresolved question. What happened to the body of this enigmatic pharaoh? As we ponder this mystery, we are left to wonder if Akhenaten's mummy is still out there, hidden beneath the sands of Egypt, waiting to be uncovered. Could it have been deliberately concealed as part of an effort to erase his legacy? Or has Akhenaten's tomb been lost to time, hidden by those who sought to erase his name? The question remains unresolved, urging us to continue searching for answers in Egypt's ancient tombs. This mystery is a testament to the complexity of ancient Egypt's history and the enduring power of Akhenaten's reign. Whether his mummy lies hidden in an undiscovered tomb or has been destroyed altogether, the search for Akhenaten's final resting place continues to be one of the greatest unsolved puzzles of Egyptology. The lack of definitive answers only deepens the intrigue surrounding this pharaoh's legacy. Will we ever uncover the truth about Akhenaten's burial, or will it remain an elusive secret buried beneath the sands of time? Only time will tell. As we delve deeper into Egypt's enduring mysteries, we now focus on a set of carvings that have sparked debate for over a century, the so-called Dendera Light carvings found in the Temple of Hathor at Dendera. Located about 60 kilometers north of Luxor, this well-preserved temple is dedicated to Hathor, the goddess of love, motherhood, and joy. Among its intricate hieroglyphs, a set of carvings stands out. depicting figures holding cylindrical objects with coiled lines emerging from them, resembling modern light bulbs. The carvings are located in a crypt-like room within the temple, and under the right lighting, they strikingly resemble electric lights. Above the figures are symbols that some believe represent coiled electrical wires, suggesting the presence of a technology far ahead of its time. The scene seems to depict figures holding what resemble light bulbs, with coiled snakes appearing to connect to a more complex object beneath. At first glance, these carvings seem to unmistakably represent an electrical device. This has led some to propose that ancient Egyptians may have had access to electricity, or at least an unknown technology akin to modern electrical systems. This theory suggests that the technological capabilities of ancient civilizations might have been more advanced than mainstream archaeology acknowledges. However, before jumping to such radical conclusions, it's essential to consider more conventional interpretations. Egyptologists and historians argue that the Dendera Light carvings are not representations of electrical lights. Instead, they believe the imagery is symbolic, reflecting ancient Egyptian beliefs in creation and divine power. The coils might represent the snake-like form of the god Atum, associated with creation, or the serpent goddess Wadjet, symbolizing protection and power. In this view, the carvings would be part of a larger spiritual narrative, depicting the god's ability to generate life, energy, and light in a metaphysical sense. Some researchers suggest the figures in the carvings may be engaged in a ritual or offering to Hathor. The coils could symbolize the god's power over life and death, or light and dark. In this interpretation, the light in the carvings likely represents divine illumination, enlightenment gained through religious practice, rather than a technological discovery. Still, the debate continues, especially given how modern the carvings appear. The similarity between these ancient depictions and modern light bulbs is striking. Is this mere coincidence, or does it suggest an ancient understanding of light and energy that we've yet to fully comprehend? Fringe theories delve deeper, proposing that the Dendera Light carvings could be evidence of advanced, lost technologies. Some suggest the Egyptians or an earlier civilization may have discovered the principles of electricity, possibly using it practically. Though controversial and lacking concrete evidence, this theory continues to captivate those who believe ancient cultures were more advanced than we give them credit for. One idea even posits that the Egyptians were using a rudimentary form of a voltaic cell, a precursor to modern batteries. Could the carvings be illustrating the use of an early electrical system? While intriguing, this theory remains speculative without physical proof. The Temple of Hathor's context further complicates the mystery. The temple is not just a place of worship, it is a site rich in symbolism tied to nature, the cosmos, and divine power. Hathor was linked to many aspects of life: music, dance, fertility, and motherhood, but also transformation and renewal. This connection could explain the symbolic use of light in the temple's iconography. The carvings may have been intended to evoke the power of the gods to bring light into the world, both literally and metaphorically, rather than representing a technological achievement. Nonetheless, the idea of lost or forgotten technologies continues to fascinate those searching for hidden truths. Could the Egyptians have had access to knowledge and tools now lost to history? While this is tantalizing, we may never fully know. As we stand before the Temple of Hathor and examine the Dendera Light carvings, we are left with more questions than answers. Are they evidence of an ancient electrical system? Or are they symbolic representations of divine power? Was their knowledge lost to time, or was it always meant to remain a mystery? The question remains, and likely will for generations to come. What are the true origins of the Dendera Light carvings, and what do they reveal about the ancient Egyptians' understanding of energy, light, and power? As we search for answers, the mystery of the Dendera Light may remain as enigmatic as it was thousands of years ago. The fascination with these carvings continues to inspire both scholars and enthusiasts, urging us to reconsider what we know about ancient Egypt and the potential knowledge lost to time. Perhaps the answers lie hidden in the unexplored corners of history, waiting for the right moment to emerge. Or perhaps the Dendera Light will forever remain one of Egypt's most intriguing and unresolved mysteries. Regardless, the allure of the Temple of Hathor and its carvings endures, leaving us with the ever-present challenge of understanding the true nature of ancient Egypt's legacy. As we continue to explore the labyrinth of Egypt's greatest unsolved mysteries, we now turn to one of the most enduring questions in archaeology. What happened to the remains of Queen Nefertiti? The iconic queen, renowned for her beauty, her role in the religious revolution alongside her husband Akhenaten, and her potential influence on the Egyptian throne, remains a figure of fascination. Yet, despite her significant place in history, the fate of her final resting place and her remains remains a mystery. Nefertiti's story is well known. As the wife of Pharaoh Akhenaten, she helped usher in one of Egypt's most revolutionary periods, his establishment of the Aten as the sole deity, sidelining the traditional gods. Nefertiti was often depicted as a co-regent, sharing power with Akhenaten, which was highly unusual for an ancient Egyptian queen. Some even speculate that she may have briefly ruled after Akhenaten's death, before Tutankhamun ascended the throne. Yet, despite her central role, the details of her death and burial remain obscure. Nefertiti's famous bust, discovered in 1912 by German archaeologist Ludwig Borchardt, is one of the most recognizable artifacts of ancient Egypt. The elegant portrayal of the queen, with her distinct blue crown, has become a symbol of beauty and power. However, this iconic image contrasts with the mystery surrounding her death and the disappearance of her remains. While many of Egypt's royals were mummified and buried in elaborate tombs, Nefertiti's final resting place has never been conclusively identified. Most scholars agree that Nefertiti likely died during the 14th century BC and was buried near the royal tombs of Akhenaten in Amarna, the city he built to honor Aten. Despite extensive excavations, Nefertiti's tomb has never been found. Some Egyptologists speculate that she might have been buried alongside Akhenaten in the royal necropolis at Amarna, but no direct evidence supports this. What's more perplexing is that following Akhenaten's reign, Nefertiti seems to have been erased from history. Akhenaten's monotheistic revolution was unpopular, and after his death, his successors, including Tutankhamun, sought to undo his reforms. Monuments were defaced, temples abandoned, and names stricken from records. This erasure has led some to believe that Nefertiti's tomb and remains were intentionally hidden or destroyed as part of this broader effort to remove the memory of the heretic pharaoh and his queen. However, the truth may be more complex. In 2003, archaeologist Dr. Zahi Hawass uncovered a tomb in the Valley of the Kings, designated KF21, which had been suggested as Nefertiti's possible resting place. The tomb contained 2 mummies, but neither conclusively matched her physical characteristics. Although some researchers speculate that one mummy could belong to Nefertiti, no direct evidence links her to the tomb. One intriguing theory suggests that Nefertiti may have fled Egypt after Akhenaten's death due to political instability or personal reasons. This theory posits that she could have lived in exile and died outside Egypt, which would explain the absence of her burial site. Though speculative, this idea persists because no clear tomb has been found. Another theory is that Nefertiti's mummy was deliberately hidden, and her tomb kept secret to protect it from tomb robbers or destruction by her enemies. The deliberate concealment of royal tombs, especially during times of political strife, was not uncommon in ancient Egypt. Could it be that Nefertiti's tomb is still hidden, waiting to be discovered? Adding to the mystery is the possibility that Nefertiti's remains were moved to a different tomb, possibly in the Valley of the Kings, where many pharaohs were buried. Some scholars suggest her body could have been reburied anonymously to avoid associating her with Akhenaten's controversial reign. Despite numerous excavations and high-tech scans of tombs, no conclusive evidence has emerged to identify her mummy or burial site. The question remains: could Nefertiti's remains still be hidden beneath the sands of Egypt, waiting to be uncovered? Or have her tomb and remains been lost to time, perhaps deliberately erased from history, just as her name was? The disappearance of Nefertiti's remains serves as a reminder that even the most prominent figures in history can fade into obscurity, leaving behind only faint traces. As we continue to search for answers, the mystery of Nefertiti's final resting place remains unsolved. Her disappearance is a puzzle that may never be fully pieced together, and her tomb might forever remain hidden in the shadows of Egypt's ancient past. The allure of this enigma, however, continues to captivate archaeologists and enthusiasts, pushing the boundaries of Egyptology. What secrets might Nefertiti's tomb reveal if ever uncovered? Only time and further exploration will tell, but for now, her final resting place remains one of Egypt's greatest unsolved mysteries. As we explore Egypt's most enduring mysteries, we now focus on one of its most awe-inspiring and perplexing sites, the Serapeum of Saqqara. Hidden beneath the sands of time, this sacred burial site contains some of the most extraordinary and enigmatic objects ever unearthed: the giant sarcophagi. These colossal stone coffins, carved with precision and weighing several tons each, have baffled archaeologists and historians for centuries. The scale and craftsmanship of the sarcophagi raise important questions about their construction and purpose. The Serapeum is located near the ancient city of Memphis, one of Egypt's most significant cultural and religious centers. It was dedicated to the god Serapis, a deity combining elements of the Egyptian and Greek pantheons, whose worship became especially prominent during the Ptolemaic period. The site was used for the burial of sacred bulls, known as Apis bulls, believed to be earthly manifestations of the god Ptah. These bulls were worshipped as living deities, and upon their death, they were embalmed and placed in elaborate tombs, marked by towering sarcophagi. The tombs at the Serapeum are scattered across an underground labyrinth, with the most notable being large chambers containing the giant sarcophagi. There are 24 of these sarcophagi, made from massive granite blocks, some weighing over 70 tons. The sheer scale of these coffins is staggering. Some measure over 6 feet long and 4 feet high, and their lids alone weigh as much as 20 tons. The craftsmanship is impressive, with each sarcophagus meticulously carved and polished, suggesting a civilization with advanced stoneworking techniques. What makes these sarcophagi so enigmatic is not only their size and craftsmanship, but also the questions surrounding their construction and purpose. Traditional Egyptian burial practices for the Apis bulls involved large and elaborate tombs, but these sarcophagi far surpass the needs of animal burials. Some are so large that moving them using the tools available at the time would have been practically impossible. How then did the ancient Egyptians carve, transport, and place such colossal stones with such precision? Mainstream scholars often suggest that the Apis bulls were considered so divine that their tombs had to reflect their celestial status. The size of the sarcophagi might be symbolic, representing the vast power of the gods. However, this explanation does little to clarify how such monumental objects were created and moved. The massive granite blocks, likely quarried from distant locations, would have required significant labor and sophisticated tools, raising questions about what technology or methods the ancient Egyptians may have had access to, knowledge possibly lost to history. The mystery deepens when we examine the construction of the tombs themselves. The tunnels are carved with such precision that modern archaeologists are unsure how the Egyptians achieved such accuracy using only primitive tools. The alignment and dimensions of the chambers and sarcophagi appear to follow a mystical order, raising further questions about the purpose of the entire complex. Were the tombs simply meant to house the remains of the sacred bulls, or did they have a more significant, unknown purpose? Could the construction of these sarcophagi and tombs be connected to an advanced understanding of architecture, astronomy, or energy? Knowledge lost to time? Some speculative theories propose that the Serapeum was not just a burial site, but a place of power, possibly related to the ancient Egyptians' understanding of cosmic forces. Some suggest the sarcophagi, due to their size and perfect alignment, could have been part of a larger system to harness energy, potentially related to lost ancient technologies. While intriguing, these theories are speculative and not widely accepted by mainstream archaeology. Nonetheless, they highlight the question: could the ancient Egyptians have possessed knowledge far beyond what we know today, hidden by time or deliberate concealment? The lack of direct inscriptions or clear evidence compounds the mystery. Unlike many other burial sites, the tombs at Saqqara contain few written records. There are no detailed accounts of the Apis bulls or their specific burial practices, nor any explanation as to why such monumental sarcophagi were needed. Could this absence of records be a deliberate attempt to conceal the true purpose of the site? Or were the records simply lost over time? The sheer scale and precision of the giant sarcophagi at the Serapeum remain an enduring puzzle. Whether they were meant for divine creatures or something more, the tombs reveal a civilization that understood stone, architecture, and symbolism in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. Even today, standing before these towering coffins, we are confronted with silence, unanswered questions. Were they merely the final resting places for the sacred Apis bulls, or do they represent something far more complex, an ancient mystery hidden beneath the sands of Saqqara, waiting for discovery? As we look at these colossal sarcophagi, one can't help but wonder, what do they truly signify, and what hidden knowledge might they be guarding, waiting for us to uncover? As we continue our exploration of Egypt's greatest mysteries, we turn to one of the most intriguing aspects of ancient Egyptian engineering: their advanced stone drilling techniques. For centuries, archaeologists have marveled at how the ancient Egyptians worked with stone, particularly in constructing monumental structures like the pyramids, temples, and tombs. However, what truly astonishes researchers are the evidence of highly sophisticated drilling techniques, especially when examining core samples from quarries across Egypt. These core samples, extracted from solid rock, offer a glimpse into a long-lost method of stonework that continues to perplex modern experts. The core samples, many from the quarries of Aswan and other regions, reveal drilling into hard, dense stone like granite and limestone. Granite, particularly, is extremely hard and difficult to work with using the tools available in the ancient world. Yet, the core samples show perfectly round, smooth holes, some several inches deep, indicating a level of precision that seems beyond the capabilities of primitive tools. How were the ancient Egyptians able to drill through such hard materials with the tools of their time? Mainstream explanations suggest that copper tools like chisels and saws were used, combined with abrasives like sand or crushed stone. This process, while labor-intensive, could have allowed workers to gradually wear away the stone. Many believe that simple rotary drills powered by human or animal labor, with copper or bronze tips, were used. However, these techniques fail to explain the incredibly precise and clean holes found in the core samples. Some core samples display remarkably consistent circular holes that suggest a more advanced technique, one that allowed for even greater precision. These holes, some appearing to be drilled from the center outward, indicate a method more refined than manual labor with basic copper tools. One of the most puzzling discoveries is the evidence that points to what seems like sonic drilling or vibrational cutting. This technique, if it existed, would have allowed the Egyptians to carve through stone using vibrations or high-frequency sound waves. In 1993, researchers Dr. David Macaulay and Dr. John Romer examined several core samples and noted that some drilled holes showed signs of smooth, almost polished edges, which could not have been achieved by traditional grinding or chiseling alone. The smoothness of the holes suggests the use of a tool that employed rapid oscillations or sound frequencies to break down rock at a molecular level, something unexplained by conventional methods. This discovery has sparked speculation that the ancient Egyptians may have had access to lost technologies, tools capable of generating vibrations or ultrasonic sound waves that could cut through stone with extraordinary precision. The concept of sonic or vibrational drilling is not unprecedented in modern science, where similar methods are used to cut through hard materials. Could the Egyptians have discovered these principles, using a combination of acoustics, engineering, and ancient knowledge long before modern technology could recreate such feats? While this theory remains speculative, it raises the question, did the ancient Egyptians possess knowledge of sonic technology, and if so, how did they acquire it? Was it an invention unique to their civilization, or was it passed down from even older lost civilizations whose secrets have been obscured by time? Could these advanced drilling techniques have been integral to the Egyptians' remarkable architectural achievements, such as the construction of the pyramids? Pyramids, which required precise measurements and stone-cutting methods. Another possibility is that the core samples point to a drilling method that relied on a combination of heat and pressure. Ancient civilizations frequently used fire to soften and break apart stone, and it's possible that the Egyptians used controlled heat alongside tools to make their drilling process more efficient. Some have suggested that heat could have been generated by the friction of copper drills, or even by utilizing simple steam or hydraulic systems, although no direct evidence for such methods has been found. Regardless of the technique, the mystery of ancient Egyptian stone drilling remains unresolved. The discovery of these remarkably precise holes, drilled into some of the hardest rocks known, challenges our conventional understanding of ancient technology. If the Egyptians did possess advanced drilling methods, it raises the question, what other lost technologies might they have used? We can only speculate about the knowledge passed down through the generations, or whether some form of ancient technology was rediscovered, only to fade into obscurity over time. Was the advanced drilling technique used purely for monumental construction? Or was it part of a broader, more sophisticated understanding of materials and energy that we have yet to fully comprehend? Could the core samples be remnants of a forgotten era of innovation? A reminder that the true capabilities of ancient Egypt remain shrouded in mystery? The answers may still lie buried beneath the sands of time, waiting to be discovered. As we continue to explore these enigmatic stonework techniques, the question lingers. Could the ancient Egyptians have been far more advanced than we ever imagined? And what other secrets might still lie hidden, waiting to be uncovered? As we continue to explore the mysteries of ancient Egypt, one of the most captivating discoveries is the dagger of King Tutankhamun. Found among the treasures of Tut's tomb in 1922 by archaeologist Howard Carter, this weapon has intrigued researchers not just for its craftsmanship, but for the mysterious composition of its blade. Unlike any other known Egyptian dagger, Tutankhamun's weapon is made from meteoric iron, a material that raises many questions about the technological and cultural knowledge of the time. The dagger is beautifully simple, with a sleek blade and a distinct shine unlike the copper and bronze alloys typically used in Egyptian weaponry. What makes it extraordinary, however, is its composition. In the 2000s, analysis revealed that the dagger's blade was made from iron that originated in a meteorite. This discovery was groundbreaking. The iron in Tut's dagger could not have been forged or produced with the technology available to the Egyptians at the time. Meteoric iron, known for its high nickel content, had been shaped and polished into a weapon of royal power, giving it both symbolic and practical significance. What's particularly fascinating is that the Egyptians had no known method of smelting iron from ore around 1323 BC. The use of meteoric iron suggests a different kind of knowledge or access to materials. How could the ancient Egyptians have known about the properties of meteorites, and how were they able to shape this material, which is much harder to work with than copper or bronze? The presence of meteoric iron in Tut's dagger points to the possibility that the Egyptians had access to technologies or natural resources that we have not yet fully understood. Meteorites were revered as sacred objects in many ancient cultures, often believed to be divine messengers from the heavens. In ancient Egypt, celestial bodies were closely linked to the gods, and the appearance of a meteorite would have been seen as an omen, a sign from the divine. Some scholars speculate that the dagger's meteoric origin could symbolize Tutankhamun's divine right to rule, with the celestial metal imbued with power from the gods themselves. Perhaps it was not just a weapon, but a sacred artifact meant to connect the earthly realm to the heavens. While the discovery of meteoric iron in ancient Egypt is not entirely unique, there are a few other examples of iron objects believed to be made from meteorites. Tutankhamun's dagger is the most famous. Its presence in the tomb of the boy king, whose short reign was marked by political upheaval, adds another layer of intrigue. Was this dagger a symbol of authority, or was it a talisman representing divine power and protection? The rare material and royal setting suggest that it was no ordinary weapon, but something of great significance, both in its composition and cultural meaning. Some researchers have speculated that the meteoric dagger could be a clue to a deeper understanding of ancient Egyptian metallurgy. Could the Egyptians have had knowledge or access to resources we have lost or forgotten over time? If the use of meteoric iron was part of a broader technological or spiritual framework, how did it influence the development of Egyptian culture? These questions hint that the ancient Egyptians may have been far more sophisticated in their understanding of materials, astronomy, and technology than we currently realize. However, more speculative ideas suggest an even deeper mystery. Some fringe theories propose that the dagger's meteoric iron could be evidence of contact with extraterrestrial civilizations, or that the knowledge to craft such a blade came from advanced, possibly non-Egyptian cultures. While these ideas remain outside the mainstream and lack solid evidence, they highlight the sense of awe the dagger inspires. Could the origins of Tutankhamun's dagger be linked to a lost chapter of human history, or even forces beyond our comprehension? Despite the various theories, the question remains: why was this dagger created with such extraordinary materials and craftsmanship? Was it merely a rare artifact crafted for a royal tomb, or does it represent something much greater, a symbol of hidden knowledge about the natural world, celestial forces, or even the gods themselves? As we continue to study and analyze the dagger, we are left with more questions than answers. The discovery of meteoric iron in Tutankhamun's tomb is a testament to the ancient Egyptians' ability to work with materials in ways we are only beginning to understand. What does this reveal about their technological capabilities, their relationship with the cosmos and the divine? The dagger, with its celestial origins and royal significance, continues to symbolize the mysteries of ancient Egypt that remain unsolved. Could we be scratching the surface of a much deeper understanding of the past, a history that has yet to reveal all its secrets? As we continue exploring the mysteries of ancient Egypt, we now focus on one of the most intriguing enigmas: the empty tomb of Pharaoh Khufu, the builder of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Khufu's pyramid, the largest of the 3 pyramids on the Giza Plateau, has long stood as a symbol of Egypt's grandeur and engineering mastery. Yet, despite the scale and complexity of the pyramid, the tomb of Khufu remains elusive, empty, with no definitive burial site ever found. The Great Pyramid, also known as the Pyramid of Khufu or Cheops, originally stood over 450 feet tall, making it the tallest man-made structure in the world for over 3,800 years. Its construction, which began around 2580 BC, has sparked debates over everything from how the massive stones were transported to the methods used to align the pyramid with the cardinal points. The sheer precision and scale of the pyramid suggest advanced mathematical and engineering knowledge. However, despite this achievement, the tomb of Khufu, the very reason for the pyramid's construction, has never been conclusively identified. Upon entering the Great Pyramid, explorers discovered a series of chambers, including the King's Chamber, located at the heart of the pyramid. Inside the chamber lay a large granite sarcophagus, initially thought to contain Khufu's remains. But upon closer inspection, the sarcophagus was found to be empty. No mummy, no burial goods, and no inscriptions. This discovery raised an immediate question. Where was Khufu's body, and why was his tomb left without the typical elements of a royal burial? Mainstream archaeologists often suggest that the tomb may have been looted in antiquity, as tomb robbing was a common practice in ancient Egypt. Even the most secured tombs were often plundered for their treasures. However, this theory fails to explain the absence of Khufu's body itself. If the tomb was looted, where is the king's body? Why is there no trace of it in a tomb designed to house the remains of a pharaoh? A more perplexing theory suggests that Khufu's body was never placed in the Great Pyramid at all. Some researchers propose that the tomb was intentionally left empty, perhaps for political or religious reasons. Could the pyramid have been a symbolic gesture, meant to represent the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife, rather than a literal burial site? In this view, the Great Pyramid might have been designed to honor Khufu's eternal reign, while his actual body was interred elsewhere, in a hidden location yet to be discovered. If true, the Great Pyramid would have been more than just a tomb. It could have been a monumental marker of Khufu's divine status and power. Another possibility is that Khufu's body was buried in a different, undiscovered location. There are other burial sites within the Giza Plateau that remain unexplored, and some archaeologists speculate that Khufu's tomb might be hidden somewhere in the area. Could Khufu have been buried in secret, away from the pyramid that bears his name? Perhaps his final resting place was deliberately concealed to protect it from desecration. Fringe theories suggest even more unusual explanations. Some propose that Khufu's body was removed by unknown forces, possibly his own priests or family members, before it could be desecrated. Others speculate that Khufu's tomb was left empty because he was considered a divine being, and his soul transcended the need for a traditional burial. In this view, the empty tomb would symbolize the transcendence of the pharaoh, his spirit elevated beyond the need for a physical resting place. The mystery surrounding Khufu is further compounded by the limited historical records. Despite his monumental achievements, very little is known about his personal life or the details of his death. Early accounts, including those by Greek historians, offer conflicting portrayals of his character and reign. Was he a tyrant, as some sources suggest, or a wise and capable ruler, as indicated by his monumental construction projects? The lack of definitive written records about his burial and death only deepens the mystery surrounding his final resting place. As we stand before the Great Pyramid, contemplating the unanswered questions of Khufu's tomb, we are reminded that even the most iconic monuments of ancient Egypt harbor mysteries that may never be solved. The absence of the king's body from his own pyramid leaves us to wonder, was it removed for a specific reason, or was it never intended to be placed there at all? Could there be a hidden tomb, lost to time, awaiting discovery? Or does the empty sarcophagus itself serve as a silent testament to the enigmatic life and death of one of Egypt's greatest pharaohs? The question of Khufu's missing remains continues to puzzle Egyptologists, and the answer may still lie beneath the sands of Giza. As we shift our focus from the empty tomb of Pharaoh Khufu, we now delve into one of the most captivating debates in Egyptian archaeology, the forbidden water erosion theory on the Giza Plateau. The Great Pyramid, the Sphinx, and the surrounding monuments stand as symbols of ancient Egyptian engineering, but one feature has raised an intriguing question: the erosion patterns on the stone surfaces of these iconic structures. Some researchers believe that the erosion visible on the Sphinx and other monuments is due to water damage, suggesting these structures may be much older than traditionally believed. The Giza Plateau, home to the famous pyramids and the Sphinx, is one of the world's most studied archaeological sites. The Great Pyramid, constructed around 2580 BC, has long fascinated historians, but it's the nearby Sphinx, carved from limestone, that has become central to the water erosion debate. The Sphinx, partially buried in sand for centuries, shows signs of erosion that some researchers believe is caused by water, unexpected in Egypt's desert climate, where rainfall is virtually non-existent. For most of the 20th century, mainstream Egyptologists maintained that the Sphinx was carved during Pharaoh Khufu's reign around 2500 BC. However, in 1990, geologist Dr. Robert Schoch presented a theory that changed how we view the Sphinx. He argued that the erosion patterns on the Sphinx's body and surrounding walls were consistent with water weathering, not wind or sand erosion as previously believed. Schoch's analysis suggested that the Sphinx was built during a much wetter period in Egypt's history, perhaps as early as 7000 BC, when the climate was significantly different. Schoch's findings suggested that the erosion resulted from prolonged rainfall, a natural weathering process that contrasts with the sand and wind erosion typical of Egypt's desert today. According to this theory, the Sphinx could be thousands of years older than the reign of Khafra, built during a time when Egypt experienced a much wetter climate. This theory raised the possibility that the Sphinx, along with the pyramids, could date back much earlier than the traditional 4th dynasty. This groundbreaking theory has been met with skepticism. Mainstream scholars argue that the erosion is a result of wind and sand over time, not water. Critics of Schoch's theory point out that the weathering could also be due to natural desert conditions or the influence of salt in the ground. Despite these criticisms, the question of the Sphinx's true age and the cause of its erosion remains unresolved. Beyond Schoch's theory, other speculative ideas have gained traction. Some suggest that the ancient Egyptians may have inherited knowledge from a lost civilization that existed long before their time. Could the Sphinx be the work of this civilization, whose knowledge of engineering, astronomy, and geology was far ahead of its time? The water erosion, in this view, could be evidence of an ancient civilization that existed before the dynastic Egyptians, one that had mastered technology we can only begin to comprehend. Some even propose that the Sphinx and its surrounding structures might have been built by an advanced, possibly extraterrestrial civilization. These fringe theories claim that the water erosion is evidence of a much older civilization with technology beyond what ancient Egypt is thought to have possessed. While these ideas remain outside the mainstream, they continue to spark curiosity and debate among those seeking answers to the mysteries of the past. Despite these intriguing theories, the truth behind the water erosion patterns on the Giza Plateau remains a mystery. Could the Sphinx truly be much older than previously thought? If so, what does this mean for our understanding of ancient history and the rise of civilization? Was the Sphinx built by an earlier, more advanced culture, or were the Egyptians capable of far greater achievements than we have recognized? As we stand before the towering Sphinx, contemplating the centuries of erosion that have shaped its form, we are left with more questions than answers. What secrets lie beneath the sands of Giza, waiting to be uncovered? Could the water erosion be the key to unlocking a lost chapter of human history? Or is it simply a natural phenomenon, one we have yet to fully understand? The mystery of the Sphinx's age and the origins of the water erosion continue to intrigue, inviting us to wonder what might still be hidden beneath the surface of Egypt's ancient monuments. Ultimately, the mystery of the Sphinx and the Giza Plateau may never be fully resolved. As we search for answers, we are reminded of the enduring power of these ancient structures. They have stood the test of time, their significance growing with each new generation's attempts to unlock their secrets. Whether the water erosion theory proves true or not, the Sphinx will continue to captivate our imagination, urging us to reconsider our understanding of ancient Egypt and the mysteries of human history. As we continue our exploration of Egypt's ancient mysteries, we now turn to one of the most debated and cryptic discoveries, the so-called Abydos helicopter carvings. Found within the Osirian, a subterranean temple complex dedicated to the god Osiris in Abydos, these carvings depict images that seem out of place, given their time period. The Osirian, built around 1300 BC during the 19th dynasty, served as a tomb and temple for Pharaoh Seti I. The temple was a site where the myth of Osiris and the afterlife were celebrated, with grand chambers and mysterious underground structures still remarkably well preserved. However, it's not just the architecture of the temple that has captured researchers' imaginations, but the enigmatic hieroglyphs adorning its walls. Among these carvings, one image stands out, depicting strange, unidentified objects that resemble modern helicopters, submarines, and aircraft. The shapes are unmistakable. One seems to be a helicopter with rotor blades, another resembles a flying machine, and a third could be interpreted as a submarine. These depictions are unlike anything else in ancient Egyptian art, and their resemblance to modern machines raises an intriguing question. How could these symbols appear on a wall thousands of years old? Mainstream Egyptologists argue that these images are the result of artistic coincidence or misinterpretation. According to traditional explanations, the shapes might represent ancient symbols or composite creatures, with no connection to modern machines. Some scholars suggest that the helicopter-like figures could symbolize mythological creatures, like winged serpents or divine beings associated with Egyptian gods. Others believe these symbols could represent celestial or supernatural forces, illustrating the power of the gods. Despite these explanations, the striking resemblance to modern vehicles, particularly helicopters, continues to stir debate. Could the Egyptians have had knowledge of flight or submarines that we are unaware of today? While it is highly unlikely that ancient Egyptians had access to helicopters or submarines, the similarity between these ancient carvings and modern technology raises questions about the nature of Egyptian artistic expression. Are these carvings symbolic representations of the divine, or could they indicate something far stranger? What makes the Abydos helicopter carvings even more intriguing is their location. The Osirian is deeply tied to death, resurrection, and the afterlife. If these carvings symbolize gods or otherworldly beings, could they point to a lost knowledge of life beyond the physical realm? Could these images, resembling modern machines, represent ancient Egyptian beliefs in divine power and celestial technology? Adding to the mystery is the fact that these symbols appear in a place associated with the afterlife. The Osirian is not just a tomb. It's believed by some scholars to symbolically represent the underworld. The carvings might reflect the Egyptians' understanding of what lay beyond death. Could these figures, which resemble modern technologies, represent the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife, or convey the idea of gods using advanced technology in the celestial realm? Fringe theories have taken this concept even further, suggesting that the helicopter carvings are evidence of contact with extraterrestrial civilizations. Some propose that the Egyptians were exposed to advanced technologies by otherworldly beings who imparted knowledge of such machinery. While this theory is often dismissed as speculative by mainstream scholars, it taps into a broader fascination with the idea that ancient civilizations possessed lost or suppressed knowledge. Despite these more speculative ideas, the Abydos helicopter carvings remain difficult to explain. Ancient Egyptian art often included symbolic and fantastical creatures, but the uncanny resemblance between these carvings and modern vehicles is hard to ignore. Whether they depict celestial beings or something more grounded in reality, these images continue to spark curiosity and debate among researchers and those fascinated by the mysteries of the ancient world. As we reflect on the cryptic carvings in the Osirian at Abydos, we are left with lingering questions. What did the ancient Egyptians truly intend to convey with these symbols? Were they simply artistic representations of their divine beliefs? Or do they point to a deeper, hidden knowledge, one we are just beginning to understand? The mystery of the Abydos helicopter carvings remains unsolved, and the answers may never fully reveal themselves. However, as we continue to search for answers, we are reminded that some of Egypt's greatest mysteries may still be waiting to be uncovered. These carvings have opened the door to new questions about ancient Egypt, questioning what we think we know about their technology, beliefs, and the scope of their understanding of the world around them. Whether the carvings are symbolic, represent lost knowledge, or point to something more extraordinary, they serve as a testament to the complexity of ancient Egyptian civilization and the enduring allure of their mysteries. As we continue exploring the enduring mysteries of ancient Egypt, we now turn to one of the most fascinating and perplexing practices, the mummification of crocodiles, particularly in the Faiyum region. Located southwest of Cairo, the Faiyum oasis was a center of agriculture and religion, but it is also home to some of the most puzzling discoveries, the large number of crocodile mummies found there. The sheer volume of these mummified creatures and the mystery surrounding their purpose have puzzled archaeologists for decades. The Faiyum crocodile mummies are often discovered in vast quantities, sometimes numbering in the thousands, particularly near the ancient city of Crocodilopolis, also known as Herakleopolis in Greek. This city, dedicated to the crocodile god Sobek, was at the heart of crocodile worship in Egypt. Sobek, depicted with the head of a crocodile, was associated with fertility, the Nile, and the power of the pharaohs. He was revered for his strength, ferocity, and role as a protector. The mummification of crocodiles in Faiyum raises several questions. Why were so many of these creatures mummified, and why in such large numbers? The practice clearly had a religious purpose, linked to Sobek, but the scale of the mummification suggests something more. Was it symbolic, or was there a more practical, unknown purpose behind these rituals? Mainstream theories suggest that the crocodiles were mummified as offerings to Sobek, a way to appease the god or seek his protection. Mummification, sacred in Egyptian culture and often reserved for humans, was believed to preserve the essence of Sobek's power for future generations. Crocodiles, as powerful creatures of the Nile, could have symbolized the god's strength, and their preservation ensured the continuation of his protective influence. Yet, the mystery deepens when we consider the sheer volume of these crocodile mummies. Some sites have yielded thousands of these creatures, many showing signs of being deliberately killed and mummified. Some are found with their jaws open and teeth bared, an almost menacing display, perhaps symbolizing Sobek's power to both protect and destroy. But why so many? Why were they treated with such care and interred in elaborate tombs and temples? Further complicating the mystery is the discovery of crocodile mummies that seem to have been bred specifically for mummification. In some cases, the crocodiles found in Faiyum are uniform in size, shape, and age, suggesting they were part of a breeding program. This implies that the Egyptians had a sophisticated understanding of animal husbandry, breeding crocodiles for ceremonial purposes. If these mummies were indeed offerings, what did the Egyptians hope to achieve? Was it divine favor, protection, or a deeper desire to control the forces of nature embodied by Sobek? Some fringe theories suggest the crocodiles might have had a more practical function. Could they have been used to preserve the power of Sobek or even the forces of the Nile? The idea that mummified crocodiles acted as vessels for divine energy has been proposed. Could it be that the ancient Egyptians believed these creatures, with their connection to Sobek and the Nile, could harness or channel spiritual or cosmic energy in ways we have yet to understand? Another possibility is that the practice of mummifying crocodiles was linked to Egyptian beliefs in reincarnation and the afterlife. Just as human mummies were prepared for their journey into the next world, the crocodiles might have been seen as divine beings, destined to take on roles in the afterlife. The preservation of these creatures could have been an effort to ensure Sobek's power endured for eternity, just as human souls were believed to transcend into the afterlife. Despite these theories, much about the Faiyum crocodile mummies remains unexplained. What do the sheer numbers of mummified creatures signify? Why were they prepared with such care, and what role did they play in ancient Egyptian rituals? Could the answers lie in a deeper understanding of Egyptian religion? Or is there a lost tradition we have yet to uncover? As we stand before the mummified crocodiles of Faiyum, we are left with more questions than answers. The purpose behind these mummies, whether religious, symbolic, or something else, remains one of Egypt's greatest mysteries. Could the truth be hidden in plain sight? Or will it remain locked away in the sands of time, a riddle that may never be fully solved? The mummified crocodiles of Faiyum continue to captivate researchers and enthusiasts alike, urging us to reconsider what we know about ancient Egyptian culture and religion. Whatever their true purpose may be, they stand as a testament to the complexity and depth of one of the world's most fascinating ancient civilizations. As we delve deeper into the mysteries of ancient Egypt, we now turn our attention to one of the most intriguing and cryptic discoveries, the Osiris shaft beneath Giza. Located near the base of the Great Pyramid, the Osiris shaft is an underground complex that has captured the imagination of archaeologists since its discovery in 1999. While much of the Giza Plateau is familiar, its pyramids, temples, and tombs, the hidden shaft, still largely unexplored, remains a tantalizing mystery that defies explanation. The Osiris shaft is a deep, vertical shaft descending into the earth, just south of the Great Pyramid. Discovered by Egyptian archaeologist Dr. Zahi Hawass and his team, the shaft led to a series of chambers and tunnels. The shaft itself is approximately 30 meters deep, its walls carved from limestone, suggesting careful construction. At the bottom of the shaft, a large stone structure resembling an ancient sarcophagus was found. Curiously, it was empty. What makes the Osiris shaft so enigmatic is its association with the Egyptian god Osiris, who represents the afterlife, resurrection, and regeneration. His myth is central to Egyptian religion, and the shaft's symbolism may go beyond being a simple tomb or burial chamber. Osiris's dismembered body was believed to have been scattered across Egypt, with parts buried in secret places. Could the Osiris shaft be part of a larger complex dedicated to Osiris's resurrection and the afterlife? Despite promising clues, the true purpose of the shaft remains unclear. Some believe it may have served as a symbolic grave or passage for pharaohs, linked to Osiris's death and resurrection cycle. The empty sarcophagus only adds to the mystery. Was it meant for a royal figure, and if so, why was it left empty? Could the shaft have been intended for a significant royal burial that was either desecrated, lost, or never used? One theory suggests the Osiris shaft was a symbolic tomb designed to reflect Osiris's death and rebirth. The empty sarcophagus might represent death as a ritualized transition from life to the afterlife. This theory proposes that the shaft and surrounding chambers were used for rituals of renewal and resurrection, integral to the pharaoh's journey into the afterlife. The idea that the shaft represents a ceremonial process rather than a burial site fits with the overarching themes of Egyptian religious practices, where death was often viewed as a passage rather than an end. Other more speculative ideas consider the shaft's greater significance. Some researchers point to its alignment with other key structures on the Giza Plateau, especially the Great Pyramid. Could the Osiris shaft be part of a much larger system of passageways connecting it to other pyramids and temples with a grander symbolic purpose? The alignment of the shaft with celestial bodies or significant structures in Giza has led to theories that it is part of a cosmic plan designed to reflect the relationship between the earth and the heavens. Fringe theories propose the shaft was part of a sophisticated energy system designed to harness mystical or cosmic forces. In this case, the empty sarcophagus could represent a vessel for ancient energy or power that has since been lost. This theory suggests that the ancient Egyptians might have understood energies or forces that modern science has yet to fully comprehend. Could the shaft and its mysterious structure be part of a larger, more complex system designed to channel these forces? Adding to the mystery, the shaft remains largely unexplored. Despite efforts by Hawass and his team, much of the Osiris shaft is still sealed, buried under sediment and time. The shaft's true depth and the extent of the chambers below remain unknown, adding to its allure. Could further exploration uncover hidden passages, inscriptions, or objects that reveal the true purpose of the shaft? The sealed nature of the Osiris shaft only amplifies its intrigue, suggesting that there may still be untold secrets waiting to be discovered beneath the sands of Giza. Standing before the sealed entrance of the Osiris shaft, we are confronted with an open question. What lies beneath Giza, hidden from view, waiting to be uncovered? Is the Osiris shaft merely a symbolic tomb, or part of a far more intricate system connected to Egypt's spiritual beliefs, the cosmos, and the afterlife? Could it represent a lost civilization with advanced knowledge of energy, power, and cosmic forces? The alignment of the shaft, its construction, and its connections to Osiris suggest that it may have been designed with intentions far beyond what we can currently understand. The answers remain elusive, leaving us with a sense of wonder that will likely persist until the mysteries of the Osiris shaft are fully revealed. What might we find beneath the sands of Giza? Only time and further exploration will tell. The Osiris shaft, much like many other ancient Egyptian mysteries, remains a riddle that continues to challenge and fascinate those who seek to understand the hidden truths of this ancient civilization. The discovery of the shaft has opened up a new chapter in the exploration of Egypt's spiritual and architectural legacy, and with continued research, we may one day unlock its deepest secrets. As we continue exploring the mysteries of ancient Egypt, we turn to an intriguing phenomenon: the strange magnetic anomalies observed around certain Egyptian obelisks. These towering structures, often made of granite and covered in inscriptions, are iconic symbols of ancient Egypt. Typically erected in honor of the gods or pharaohs, they were considered powerful monuments connecting the earthly realm to the divine. Recent studies, however, have revealed that some of these obelisks exhibit unusual magnetic properties, sparking curiosity about their true function. Obelisks, often crafted from durable granite, were placed in temples or sacred sites, serving both as artistic masterpieces and historical records. The most famous obelisks, such as those at Karnak and Luxor, feature hieroglyphs that recount the achievements of pharaohs or the deeds of gods. However, some obelisks, including those in Karnak, Luxor, and even the Piazza del Popolo in Rome, originally erected in Heliopolis, show subtle magnetic anomalies when examined with modern instruments. This is puzzling, as granite, the material most obelisks are made of, is not typically magnetic. So, why do these ancient stones display such peculiar magnetic readings? Mainstream scientists usually attribute these anomalies to the natural properties of granite. Granite contains minerals like magnetite, which possess magnetic properties. These minerals can cause slight magnetic fluctuations, especially if the granite was formed under specific geological conditions. From this perspective, the anomalies are seen as a natural result of the granite's composition, with no deeper meaning attached. However, other theories suggest that the magnetic anomalies could have been intentionally designed. Could the ancient Egyptians have understood and utilized magnetic properties in their monumental construction? Known for their precision in moving massive stones and constructing obelisks with remarkable accuracy, it's possible they also understood magnetism and used this knowledge for practical or spiritual purposes. Some researchers propose that the obelisks were part of a sophisticated system of energy manipulation. They believe the placement and materials of these obelisks might have been strategically chosen to harness or channel natural forces, such as magnetic or cosmic energy. If true, these obelisks could have been part of a system designed to influence the environment in ways we do not yet understand. Another possibility is that the magnetic properties of the obelisks were seen as a divine manifestation. The ancient Egyptians often associated their architectural feats with the gods, believing their structures were imbued with divine power. If the obelisks were intended as conduits for divine energy, the magnetic anomalies could have been seen as a sign of the gods' presence, marking the obelisks as sacred, otherworldly objects meant to connect the physical world to the divine. Adding to the mystery, many obelisks were made from granite sourced from distant quarries, such as those in Aswan, known for producing high-quality granite. Could the geological properties of these quarries explain the anomalies, or were the obelisks specifically chosen for their material, which might possess hidden properties? Given that the ancient Egyptians meticulously selected materials for their monumental constructions, it's plausible that granite was chosen not only for its durability and aesthetic qualities, but also for its potential magnetic properties. Despite these various explanations, the magnetic anomalies surrounding the obelisks remain unresolved. While mainstream science often points to natural geological factors, the possibility that the ancient Egyptians understood and harnessed the Earth's magnetic forces for unknown rituals or technologies is an intriguing thought. Could these obelisks, with their mysterious magnetic properties, have been part of an ancient system that remains hidden from our understanding? As we stand before these timeless monuments, we are reminded of the many layers of mystery still surrounding ancient Egypt. Whether these anomalies are simply a geological oddity or part of a grander, unknown purpose, they leave us with an unanswered question. What did the ancient Egyptians know that we have yet to uncover? The answers may still be buried beneath the sands of time. This enigmatic connection between the obelisks and magnetism continues to fascinate both scientists and enthusiasts, as the possibility of advanced knowledge once possessed by the ancient Egyptians remains tantalizing. These obelisks, standing tall for millennia, may yet hold secrets that defy modern understanding, prompting us to re-examine not only ancient Egyptian architecture, but also the true extent of their scientific and spiritual knowledge. As we look at these towering stones, we are reminded that ancient Egypt's mysteries are far from being fully unraveled. And perhaps, as more research is conducted, we might unlock deeper truths about the civilization's capabilities and their connection to forces beyond our current comprehension. As we continue our journey through Egypt's enduring mysteries, we now turn our attention to a discovery that has sparked controversy and speculation for decades: the so-called Cartouche of Khufu, found inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. The Great Pyramid, built during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, also known as Cheops, is one of the most iconic structures in the world, and its construction has long fascinated researchers. However, the discovery of a cartouche bearing Khufu's name within the pyramid has raised questions that challenge long-held assumptions about its purpose and construction. The cartouche, discovered in 1837 by explorer Howard Weiss, is located inside the Grand Gallery, a large sloped passageway leading to the king's chamber. A cartouche is an oval-shaped symbol containing the royal name of a pharaoh, often carved into monuments and tombs to honor the king. In this case, the cartouche features Khufu's name. What makes this discovery so controversial is that it is the only known reference to Khufu inside the pyramid, which contradicts some traditional beliefs about the pyramid's purpose and construction. The most widely accepted theory is that the Great Pyramid was built as Khufu's tomb, designed to house his body and ensure his journey to the afterlife. Despite centuries of exploration, however, no direct evidence of Khufu's burial has been found inside the pyramid. While the cartouche is significant, it does not provide definitive proof that the pyramid was intended as a tomb for Khufu, especially given the absence of his remains. This absence of direct evidence has led some researchers to question whether the Great Pyramid was truly built for Khufu's burial, or if it may have served a different purpose altogether. The cartouche, placed deep inside the pyramid, might be symbolic rather than literal, suggesting that the pyramid was not Khufu's tomb, but had a different role. Why then would Khufu's name appear in such a hidden location? Could the cartouche offer a clue to the pyramid's true function, one obscured by time and historical interpretation? Some have suggested that the Cartouche of Khufu was added later, possibly by Weiss or other 19th century explorers. This theory arose after questions were raised about Weiss's methods, including his use of explosives to break into chambers. Critics argue that Weiss may have fabricated or planted the cartouche to reinforce the idea that the pyramid was Khufu's tomb. While this theory has not been proven, it adds another layer of uncertainty to an already controversial discovery. On the other hand, some Egyptologists argue that the cartouche is indeed authentic and reflects Khufu's time. Perhaps the pyramid was never meant to serve as a tomb in the conventional sense, but as a monumental tribute to Khufu's divine status. The cartouche could symbolize his reign, rather than marking his final resting place. This theory aligns with the idea that the Great Pyramid's extraordinary design might have been more about honoring Khufu's divine legacy than housing his mortal remains. Further complicating the mystery is the fact that Khufu's name does not appear often at other archaeological sites connected to the pyramid. Although Khufu is mentioned in ancient Egyptian records like the Royal Canon of Turin, there are few references to his name within the pyramid complex itself. Could this be another clue suggesting that the pyramid's purpose was not simply to house his body, but to serve as a symbolic structure honoring his divine rule? It's also possible that the cartouche was not meant to link Khufu directly to the pyramid, but to mark his broader role in constructing monumental architecture in Egypt. Perhaps it was intended to label the pyramid as a creation of his reign, a lasting monument to his power and vision. If the cartouche was placed by Khufu's successors, it could have been a way to connect the pyramid to his legacy without implying that it was his tomb. The mystery of Khufu's cartouche continues to fascinate historians and archaeologists alike. The lack of physical evidence of Khufu's burial inside the Great Pyramid only deepens the questions raised by the cartouche's presence. Was it a deliberate marking of his tomb, or was it something more symbolic? Was the pyramid truly intended to be Khufu's final resting place, or did it serve a different, more cosmic purpose? As we stand before the towering walls of the Great Pyramid, gazing up at the cartouche hidden deep within its chambers, we are reminded of how much remains unknown about Egypt's ancient history. Could the answers to these questions lie buried within the pyramid itself, waiting to be uncovered? Or will the mystery of Khufu's cartouche and the true purpose of the Great Pyramid remain unsolved, a puzzle that continues to challenge our understanding of the past? The secrets of the pyramid may still be hidden beneath the sands of time, waiting for future explorers to unravel. As we continue our journey through the enigmatic world of ancient Egypt, we now turn to one of the most captivating features of Egyptian architecture: the alignment of the pyramids of Giza with the stars of Orion's belt. This alignment, particularly striking when observed from above, has long intrigued scholars and researchers alike. The three great pyramids, Those of Khufu, Khafra, and Menkaure are positioned in near-perfect alignment with the three stars that form Orion's belt, a feature that raises important questions about ancient Egyptian knowledge and purpose. The Giza Plateau, home to these monumental pyramids, is one of the most iconic archaeological sites in the world. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, built around 2580 BC, stands as the largest of the three pyramids and was the tallest man-made structure for over 3,800 years. While the precision and scale of the pyramids have always been admired, the alignment with Orion's belt suggests a deliberate connection to the stars and, by extension, to the divine. The alignment is too precise to be a coincidence. The pyramid's positions align so closely with the stars of Orion's belt that it seems improbable it was accidental. Ancient Egyptians were keen observers of the night sky, and their religious practices were deeply tied to celestial bodies. Orion, associated with Osiris, the god of resurrection, was considered a celestial counterpart to the god himself. The pyramid's alignment with Orion suggests the Egyptians may have designed the monuments to honor Osiris, facilitating the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife. Mainstream scholars generally view this alignment as symbolic. They propose that the pyramids were positioned with the stars in mind to reflect the Egyptians' beliefs about death, rebirth, and the afterlife. The pyramid's sharp, pointed shapes were thought to be conduits for the pharaoh's soul, helping it ascend to the heavens and join the gods. The alignment with Orion's belt, as Osiris's celestial form, would have symbolized the pharaoh's transition into the divine realm. However, the precision of the alignment raises further questions. How could the Egyptians, over 4,000 years ago, achieve such exact alignment with the stars without the use of telescopes or advanced technology? Despite the lack of modern tools, the Egyptians had a sophisticated understanding of celestial mechanics and were skilled at observing the stars. Could they have possessed a knowledge of the stars and the cosmos that we have since lost? Some fringe theories suggest that the alignment of the pyramids with Orion's belt is evidence of ancient extraterrestrial contact. Proponents argue that the precision of the alignment could not have been achieved without advanced knowledge, possibly imparted to the Egyptians by extraterrestrial beings. Though not widely accepted, this idea taps into a broader fascination with the possibility that ancient civilizations were influenced by outside forces. Could the Egyptians have had access to technology beyond our current understanding of ancient history? Other theories propose that the alignment had a more practical purpose. Some researchers suggest that the pyramids were part of a system designed to harness cosmic energy, with their alignment serving as a means to channel or amplify celestial forces. According to this theory, the pyramids functioned as both spiritual and physical conduits, harnessing cosmic power to aid in the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife and to maintain the harmony of the universe. Could the alignment with Orion's belt have been a deliberate attempt to tap into celestial energies related to the cycles of nature or the cosmos? Despite these various theories, the alignment of the pyramids with Orion's belt remains shrouded in mystery. Was it purely symbolic, a way to honor Osiris and guide the pharaoh's soul to the afterlife? Or was it part of a more complex system of knowledge that the ancient Egyptians possessed, tying the pyramids to a deeper understanding of the universe? The precise alignment, and the fact that it has lasted for millennia, speaks to the Egyptians' advanced knowledge and their deep connection to the cosmos. As we stand before the Great Pyramids of Giza, gazing up at the stars that may have guided their construction, we are left with lingering questions. What do these precise alignments truly mean, and what secrets about ancient Egyptian knowledge still remain hidden beneath the sands of time? Could the pyramids' connection to Orion's belt hold further significance, waiting to be uncovered? The answers may lie in the stars themselves or in the discoveries yet to be made beneath these ancient monuments. As we continue our journey through the enigmatic world of ancient Egypt, We now turn to one of the most captivating features of Egyptian architecture, the alignment of the pyramids of Giza with the stars of Orion's belt. This alignment, particularly striking when observed from above, has long intrigued scholars and researchers alike. The three great pyramids, those of Khufu, Khafra, and Menkaure, are positioned in near-perfect alignment with the three stars that form Orion's belt, a feature that raises important questions about ancient Egyptian knowledge and purpose. The Giza Plateau, home to these monumental pyramids, is one of the most iconic archaeological sites in the world. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, built around 2580 BC, stands as the largest of the three pyramids and was the tallest man-made structure for over 3,800 years. While the precision and scale of the pyramids have always been admired, the alignment with Orion's belt suggests a deliberate connection to the stars and, by extension, to the divine. The alignment is too precise to be a coincidence. The pyramid's positions align so closely with the stars of Orion's belt that it seems improbable it was accidental. Ancient Egyptians were keen observers of the night sky, and their religious practices were deeply tied to celestial bodies. Orion, associated with Osiris, the god of resurrection, was considered a celestial counterpart to the god himself. The pyramid's alignment with Orion suggests the Egyptians may have designed the monuments to honor Osiris, facilitating the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife. Mainstream scholars generally view this alignment as symbolic. They propose that the pyramids were positioned with the stars in mind to reflect the Egyptians' beliefs about death, rebirth, and the afterlife. The pyramid's sharp, pointed shapes were thought to be conduits for the pharaoh's soul, helping it ascend to the heavens and join the gods. The alignment with Orion's belt, as Osiris's celestial form, would have symbolized the pharaoh's transition into the divine realm. However, the precision of the alignment raises further questions. How could the Egyptians, over 4,000 years ago, achieve such exact alignment with the stars without the use of telescopes or advanced technology? Despite the lack of modern tools, the Egyptians had a sophisticated understanding of celestial mechanics and were skilled at observing the stars. Could they have possessed a knowledge of the stars and the cosmos that we have since lost? Some fringe theories suggest that the alignment of the pyramids with Orion's belt is evidence of ancient extraterrestrial contact. Proponents argue that the precision of the alignment could not have been achieved without advanced knowledge, possibly imparted to the Egyptians by extraterrestrial beings. Though not widely accepted, this idea taps into a broader fascination with the possibility that ancient civilizations were influenced by outside forces. Could the Egyptians have had access to technology beyond our current understanding of ancient history? Other theories propose that the alignment had a more practical purpose. Some researchers suggest that the pyramids were part of a system designed to harness cosmic energy, with their alignment serving as a means to channel or amplify celestial forces. According to this theory, the pyramids functioned as both spiritual and physical conduits, harnessing cosmic power to aid in the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife and to maintain the harmony of the universe. Could the alignment with Orion's belt have been a deliberate attempt to tap into celestial energies related to the cycles of nature or the cosmos? Despite these various theories, the alignment of the pyramids with Orion's belt remains shrouded in mystery. Was it purely symbolic, a way to honor Osiris and guide the pharaoh's soul to the afterlife? Or was it part of a more complex system of knowledge that the ancient Egyptians possessed, tying the pyramids to a deeper understanding of the universe? The precise alignment, and the fact that it has lasted for millennia, speaks to the Egyptians' advanced knowledge and their deep connection to the cosmos. As we stand before the great pyramids of Giza, gazing up at the stars that may have guided their construction, we are left with lingering questions. What do these precise alignments truly mean, And what secrets about ancient Egyptian knowledge still remain hidden beneath the sands of time? Could the pyramid's connection to Orion's belt hold further significance, waiting to be uncovered? The answers may lie in the stars themselves or in the discoveries yet to be made beneath these ancient monuments. As we journey further into the mysteries of ancient Egypt, we now turn our attention to the unfinished obelisk in Aswan, one of the most intriguing artifacts of the ancient world. Located in a granite quarry near the modern city of Aswan, this massive stone provides insight into Egypt's monumental ambitions and the remarkable precision of its builders. Yet, despite its unfinished state, the obelisk raises more questions than it answers. The unfinished obelisk, estimated to weigh over 1,000 tons, lies partially hewn from the bedrock of Aswan's granite quarry. It was intended to be one of the largest obelisks ever constructed, but the carving was abandoned when cracks appeared in the stone, making it impossible to complete. Today, it remains embedded in the quarry, a silent testament to the ambition of the ancient builders and the complexities of stoneworking in Egypt. What makes the unfinished obelisk particularly remarkable is not just its size, but the precision with which it was being shaped. The sides are carefully smoothed, and the base is nearly fully separated from the surrounding granite. The tool marks left on the stone offer clues about the techniques used. The precision of the carving, however, raises an important question. How did the ancient Egyptians achieve such accuracy with tools and methods that, by modern standards, should have been far less advanced? Granite, the material used for the obelisk, is a dense, hard stone, much more difficult to work with than softer stones like limestone. Yet, the unfinished obelisk was being carved with remarkable precision, suggesting that the builders possessed not only great skill, but also an advanced understanding of material manipulation. The tool marks show a high degree of craftsmanship, and the control involved in shaping such a large structure raises the question, how did the ancient Egyptians manage this with only copper tools and basic stoneworking techniques? Mainstream explanations suggest that the obelisk was carved using traditional Egyptian methods, such as copper tools combined with abrasives like sand. Workers may have used a combination of manual labor, fire, and water to break apart the stone and smooth its surface. In some cases, heated metal tools could have been used to weaken the stone, making it easier to carve. However, the precision of the carving remains difficult to explain, given the limited technology available to the Egyptians at the time. Some researchers propose that the ancient Egyptians may have used techniques we do not fully understand. Could it be that they harnessed vibrations, sound, or resonance to carve the stone with such precision? This theory suggests that the Egyptians may have discovered how to use vibrations to break down the stone more efficiently than traditional methods allowed. While there is no direct evidence to support this idea, the precision of the obelisk and the abandonment of the project fuel speculation about lost or hidden technologies. Another theory suggests that the unfinished obelisk was part of a much larger, more ambitious project, one that was abandoned for reasons that remain unclear. Perhaps the cracks in the stone were not the only reason for its abandonment. Some suggest that the obelisk was intended for a specific pharaoh or deity, and its construction was halted due to a shift in political or religious priorities. Could the obelisk represent an interrupted vision, a grand idea abandoned before it could be fully realized? This theory raises the possibility that the obelisk was tied not only to technological advancements, but also to changing dynastic or religious ideals. The discovery of similar unfinished obelisks and structures in various parts of Egypt adds to the mystery. These abandoned projects suggest that the ancient Egyptians occasionally undertook grand endeavors that were ultimately halted due to unforeseen circumstances. Was the unfinished obelisk in Aswan simply one of many abandoned projects, or does it point to a deeper mystery about the challenges the Egyptians faced in their building practices? The abandonment of the obelisk, after such careful and deliberate work, raises further questions. Could it have been due to an unforeseen geological problem, like unstable stone? Or was there a more pressing reason for its abandonment? Perhaps a political shift, a loss of resources, or a change in leadership? Standing before the unfinished obelisk, we are left with a sense of awe at the ambition of the ancient Egyptians, yet an enduring mystery remains. The precision with which this massive stone was carved, combined with its abandonment, invites us to wonder, how did the Egyptians achieve such extraordinary feats of engineering, and why was this particular project left incomplete? The unfinished obelisk, still embedded in Aswan's bedrock, raises more questions than answers. What secrets does it hold, and will we ever fully uncover the reasons behind its creation and abandonment? The mystery remains, waiting to be revealed. As we move from the celestial alignments of the pyramids, we now turn our attention to one of the most perplexing features of the Great Pyramid of Giza, the enigmatic shafts that ascend from the king's and queen's chambers. These narrow, vertical passages cut through the solid stone of the pyramid, leading upwards to the outer walls. Despite their intricate design, the shafts seem to terminate in solid stone or open into empty space, offering no direct passage. So, what purpose did these shafts serve, and why were they built with such care? The shafts are located inside the Great Pyramid, specifically in the king's and queen's chambers. There are 4 shafts, 2 in the king's chamber and 2 in the queen's chamber. The shafts in the king's chamber align with stars in the constellation of Orion, including Al-Nitak, while the shafts in the queen's chamber are thought to align with Sirius. This celestial alignment has led many researchers to propose that the shafts served astronomical purposes, possibly guiding the soul of the pharaoh to the heavens, connected to Osiris, the god of the afterlife. Despite these possible connections to celestial bodies, the fact that the shafts end in sealed blocks or empty space raises more questions. If they were intended for spiritual or astronomical purposes, why are they sealed off? Were the Egyptians trying to connect the pyramid to the stars? And if so, why were these shafts left unfinished or blocked? Theories about the function of these shafts range from the practical to the mystical. One common explanation is that the shafts were part of the pyramid's burial system, designed to facilitate the pharaoh's ascension to the afterlife. In Egyptian religion, the pharaoh was considered divine, and the shafts may have been symbolic pathways for the soul to travel to the heavens. The sealing of the shafts might have been part of the burial ritual, ensuring that the soul was sealed within the pyramid on its journey to the afterlife. However, this theory doesn't fully explain why the shafts are sealed and not used for a direct passage. Some researchers suggest that the sealing was a symbolic gesture, meant to restrict the flow of energy or protect the sacred space. Others propose that the shafts might have been part of a more elaborate ritual or system that was interrupted, possibly due to the fall of the Old Kingdom or a shift in dynastic practices. There's also the possibility that the shafts had a more practical function, which we may not fully understand. One theory proposes that the shafts were part of a ventilation system, while many scholars dispute this, citing the small size and narrowness of the shafts. It's possible they served a purpose related to the pyramid's construction or its use after it was completed. With the scale of the Great Pyramid, maintaining airflow might have been a concern during the construction process. More speculative theories suggest that the shafts may have had a mystical function, possibly designed to channel cosmic energies into the pyramid. Some fringe theorists propose that the pyramids, including the shafts, were part of a larger system to harness energy or communicate with extraterrestrial beings. While there's no evidence to support these claims, the precise alignment of the shafts with the stars has sparked the imagination of many, leading to theories that the ancient Egyptians may have had knowledge of energy manipulation or even advanced technologies. What's particularly intriguing about the shafts is that they remain sealed, hidden within the pyramid, yet they lead nowhere, at least nowhere we fully understand. Their enigmatic nature raises questions about their purpose. Were they part of a grand cosmic design, an architectural puzzle we have yet to solve? Or were they unfinished aspects of the pyramid's burial rituals? Standing before the Great Pyramid, contemplating the sealed shafts, we are left with the sense that something vital remains hidden, perhaps intentionally. What knowledge did the ancient Egyptians possess that we are only beginning to comprehend? The answers may lie within the shafts themselves, waiting for future generations to unlock their secrets. Until then, the mystery endures, inviting us to wonder what the pyramids were truly meant to represent and what still lies hidden beneath the layers of time. The shafts, with their precise alignment and unexplained purpose, continue to spark curiosity and inspire debate. They remind us that even the most well-known monuments in history, like the Great Pyramid, still contain mysteries that have yet to be fully understood. Could the ancient Egyptians have designed these shafts as part of a greater cosmic or spiritual system? Or were they simply unfinished elements of a much larger, more complex design? As we continue to study and explore, these questions remain open, offering a tantalizing glimpse into the depth of Egypt's architectural and spiritual ingenuity. As we continue our exploration of Egypt's enduring mysteries, we turn our attention to one of the most intriguing tales from Egyptian mythology and archaeology, the rumored tomb of Osiris, said to lie beneath the Giza Plateau. Osiris, the god of the afterlife, resurrection, and fertility, holds a central place in Egyptian religion. His death and resurrection form a cornerstone of ancient Egyptian belief. However, the location of his tomb remains one of archaeology's greatest mysteries. Could his final resting place be hidden beneath the land where the pyramids rise? The Giza Plateau, known for its awe-inspiring pyramids, has long been the focal point of Egyptological studies. Beneath the towering structures of the Great Pyramid, the Sphinx, and their accompanying monuments, legends suggest something far more profound lies hidden. The idea of Osiris's tomb being buried beneath Giza has fascinated researchers for years. According to ancient texts, Osiris's body was dismembered by his brother Set and scattered across Egypt, only to be reassembled by his wife, Isis. The myth of Osiris's resurrection symbolizes the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. What makes the possible existence of Osiris's tomb beneath Giza so captivating is its symbolism and spiritual significance. Osiris was not just a god, but a figure intimately connected with the afterlife, and the location of his tomb would hold immense religious importance. Some believe that the Giza Plateau, with its pyramids and the Sphinx, forms part of a larger symbolic map, aligning the structures with the stars to represent cosmic order. Could it be that the tomb of Osiris, hidden in this sacred space, is part of an even grander design that aligns the physical world with the divine? In the early 20th century, Egyptologist Dr. Zahi Hawass made a significant claim about the possibility of Osiris's tomb beneath the Giza Plateau. According to Hawass, there are hints in ancient texts, particularly the pyramid texts, suggesting a hidden tomb associated with Osiris lies beneath the pyramids. These texts, inscribed within the pyramids, reference Osiris's burial and the belief that his soul resides within the earth. For many, these references are symbolic, but others believe they point to a physical tomb that was once revered as Osiris's final resting place. Intrigue deepened with the discovery of underground chambers and tunnels near the Sphinx and the pyramids. Some of these tunnels appear to lead deep into the earth, fueling speculation about what might still lie hidden beneath the Giza Plateau. Could these tunnels be part of a hidden complex, one that leads to the tomb of Osiris? If so, why has it remained undiscovered for so long? Mainstream explanations suggest that the underground chambers near Giza may be remnants of ancient tombs or burial complexes from later periods. However, the precise alignment of some of these structures and the references to Osiris's burial in ancient texts make some researchers question whether these chambers might be more than just ordinary tombs. Could they represent the tomb of a god, deliberately concealed to preserve its sanctity and power? Speculative theories abound, with some suggesting that Osiris's tomb was hidden by the ancient Egyptians themselves, sealed to prevent desecration. According to this view, Osiris's burial place would have been considered too sacred to disturb, and knowledge of its location was kept secret, passed down only to a select few. These theories often suggest that the Egyptians possessed advanced knowledge, possibly of energy or cosmic forces, and that Osiris's tomb could be connected to these mysteries. Others propose a more mystical explanation, suggesting that Osiris's tomb is not a physical location, but a symbolic or metaphysical site, accessible only through ritual or spiritual means. In this view, the tomb represents a connection to the divine, where the soul of the pharaoh reunites with Osiris and ascends to the heavens. Could it be that the ancient Egyptians were not searching for a physical tomb, but for a spiritual pathway to the afterlife, represented by the symbolic tomb of Osiris beneath the earth? Despite many theories, the tomb of Osiris remains one of Egypt's greatest mysteries. No definitive evidence has been found to confirm its location, and the search for Osiris's final resting place continues to elude modern archaeologists. The cryptic references in ancient texts, the underground chambers near Giza, and the enduring significance of Osiris as a symbol of death and resurrection all suggest the possibility of a hidden tomb beneath the Giza plateau. But what is the truth behind these legends? Standing before the towering monuments of Giza, we are reminded of how much we still don't understand about the ancient Egyptians and their beliefs. The question of Osiris's tomb, buried beneath the sands of Egypt, continues to haunt us. What might still be hidden below, waiting to reveal its secrets? The mystery remains unresolved, leaving us to ponder the depth of Egypt's ancient knowledge and the eternal journey of the soul. As we continue our journey through the mysteries of ancient Egypt, we now focus on one of the most perplexing aspects of Egyptian history, the strange disappearance of entire dynastic records. Ancient Egypt, with its rich history spanning over 3 millennia, produced an astonishing array of monumental structures, texts, and artifacts detailing the reigns of its pharaohs, religious practices, and cultural achievements. Yet despite this wealth of surviving evidence, significant gaps remain in the historical record, especially regarding the early dynastic periods. Some records are missing entirely, while others seem to have vanished without a trace, leaving us with unsettling questions about what has been lost to time. The ancient Egyptians were meticulous record keepers. Hieroglyphs written on papyrus, stone, and tomb walls tell the stories of pharaohs, gods, battles, and daily life. Monumental inscriptions allowed them to immortalize the deeds of their rulers and the history of their civilization. Despite this, much of Egypt's early dynastic history remains a mystery. Entire reigns of pharaohs are unaccounted for, and key periods of Egyptian history are frustratingly vague or absent. One striking example of this historical void is the so-called intermediate periods of Egypt, times of political instability between more documented dynasties. It is believed that during these periods, records may have been intentionally lost, erased, or destroyed due to civil conflict or by the deliberate actions of succeeding rulers. This deliberate erasure could have been part of a broader effort to reshape history, suppress rival dynasties, or solidify a new ruler's legitimacy. The concept of damnation of memory, the removal of a ruler's name from public records, was not uncommon in ancient Egypt, particularly when a new dynasty sought to distance itself from the previous one. A specific example is the so-called Lost Dynasty of the First Intermediate Period, following the collapse of the Old Kingdom. Some scholars suggest that records of this dynasty were deliberately destroyed during the Middle Kingdom, as the new rulers sought to rewrite history. Pharaohs like Mentuhotep II, who reunified Egypt, would have had a vested interest in erasing their predecessors to cement their own rule. But this doesn't fully explain why entire periods, such as the 7th to the 10th dynasties, seem to have left no significant trace in the archaeological record. The gaps in Egypt's historical records extend beyond the intermediate periods, into other periods as well. One of the most mysterious cases is the so-called Dark Age of Egypt, the period following the reign of the controversial Pharaoh Akhenaten. Akhenaten, the heretic king who attempted to institute monotheism by worshipping the sun god Aten, left a mark on Egyptian history, but the records of his successors are strangely sparse. After his death, the traditional polytheistic practices were quickly restored, and the memory of Akhenaten's reign was largely erased. Yet it is not just Akhenaten's reign that is mysterious. His successors, including Tutankhamun, are barely mentioned in surviving texts. The reign of the pharaohs from the 18th dynasty, particularly those following Akhenaten's tumultuous rule, is also marked by gaps. The famous tomb of Tutankhamun, rich with treasure, is almost an anomaly in the historical narrative. Many scholars believe that the tomb's wealth resulted from Tutankhamun's short reign, but it provides little concrete information about the broader political or religious landscape of the time. Evidence also suggests that entire dynasties, like those from the Second Intermediate Period, simply vanished from the official record. Their names were wiped clean from inscriptions, fueling theories about lost or hidden histories. Some suggest these pharaohs were erased because they were unpopular, corrupt, or defeated by invaders, such as the Hyksos during the Second Intermediate Period. Further complicating the mystery is the fact that many lost records were likely destroyed during periods of invasion and conquest. Egypt faced foreign invaders multiple times, and when outsiders took power, they often sought to dismantle the monuments and records of the ruling dynasty they had overthrown. The destruction of records during the invasions of the Nubians, Persians, and later the Greeks and Romans is well documented. However, it's also possible that records were lost due to natural disasters, environmental factors, or simple neglect over time. The absence of these records raises significant questions about the nature of ancient Egyptian politics. Did pharaohs and priests intentionally conceal certain reigns? Was the rewriting of history a conscious decision to erase failures, or simply a product of political upheaval? Could some lost dynastic records have been hidden away for reasons we still do not understand? What remains clear is that Egypt's lost dynastic records present one of its greatest mysteries. Were they destroyed in the wake of dynastic transitions, or lost due to other, more mysterious causes? The erasure of entire periods challenges our understanding of how the civilization viewed its past and how its rulers sought to shape their legacy. As we ponder the absence of these records, we wonder, what other secrets about Egypt's rulers and their reigns have been lost to the sands of time? Could there be hidden tombs, forgotten artifacts, or lost scrolls buried beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered? The mystery of Egypt's missing dynastic records remains unresolved, inviting further exploration and contemplation of what lies hidden beneath Egypt's ancient, sun-drenched sands. The greenstone sarcophagus of Pharaoh Nectanebo II, discovered in 1933 near the Temple of Serapis in Alexandria, is one of Egypt's most intriguing archaeological finds. This sarcophagus stands out not only for its rare green hue, but also for the mysteries surrounding its creation, purpose, and placement. Made from a hard, green-colored stone believed to be basalt or diorite, it raises questions about the techniques used to craft it, as well as its significance in the context of Egyptian burial practices. Nectanebo II was the last ruler of Egypt's 30th dynasty, reigning during the late 4th century BC, a period marked by political instability and growing Persian pressure. Despite his efforts to defend Egypt, the country eventually fell under Persian control. The discovery of his green stone sarcophagus has intrigued scholars, as it provides valuable insight into the later stages of ancient Egyptian rule, yet leaves many questions unanswered about the materials and craftsmanship involved. The sarcophagus itself is a stunning example of ancient Egyptian artistry. Its smooth, dark green surface contrasts with the more commonly used limestone and sandstone sarcophagi from earlier periods. The green stone's vibrant hue suggests that it may have held symbolic meaning, possibly linked to Osiris, the Egyptian god of the afterlife. Green was closely associated with fertility, rebirth, and resurrection, qualities attributed to Osiris. This connection may have been deliberate, symbolizing Nectanebo II's hoped-for rebirth in the afterlife. The choice of such a rare material raises further questions. While stone sarcophagi were not unusual in ancient Egypt, green stone sarcophagi are exceedingly rare, especially for royal burials. The use of this specific stone suggests that it was chosen for its spiritual significance. The ancient Egyptians believed that different materials had mystical properties, and green was thought to possess regenerative powers. This would align with the idea that the sarcophagus was intended to facilitate the pharaoh's resurrection, ensuring his divine protection in the afterlife. Scholars have speculated that the choice of green stone could have been an attempt to align Nectanebo II with Osiris, whose spiritual power was thought to dwell in green materials. In this sense, the sarcophagus would not just be a burial container, but also a powerful symbol of the pharaoh's divine status. The use of green may have been a visual cue to the gods, aiding the king's passage into the afterlife and his eventual resurrection, just as Osiris had risen from the dead. What makes this sarcophagus even more intriguing is its unusual discovery site. Unlike typical royal tombs, which were situated in necropolises, this sarcophagus was found in the ruins of a temple complex. This raises questions about its original purpose and placement. Was it part of an altered burial ritual, possibly due to the political turmoil Egypt was facing at the time? The sarcophagus's location in a temple rather than a royal tomb may suggest that Nectanebo II's burial practices were influenced by the instability of his reign, possibly leading to a break with tradition. The design and craftsmanship of the sarcophagus itself also raise intriguing questions. Basalt and diorite are incredibly hard materials, and the process of carving them would have required advanced tools and techniques. Some scholars suggest that the Egyptians may have possessed knowledge of lost technologies that allowed them to work with such dense stone. The precision of the carvings on the sarcophagus suggests that the ancient Egyptians may have had access to techniques far more advanced than previously understood. Another theory proposes that the sarcophagus was not originally intended for Nectanebo II. Given the political instability of the time, it is possible that the sarcophagus was originally meant for another royal figure or high-ranking individual, only to be reassigned to Nectanebo II after his death. This theory adds another layer of mystery, suggesting that the sarcophagus could hold clues to a larger, yet undiscovered, chapter in Egyptian history. Despite the many theories, the true purpose of the green stone sarcophagus remains elusive. Was it a symbol of Nectanebo II's divine status, crafted to ensure his resurrection in the afterlife? Or was it a part of a burial practice that was never fully realized due to the political and military challenges of the time? Its discovery in a temple complex instead of a royal necropolis only deepens the mystery. Could it hold the key to understanding changes in burial practices during the turbulent final years of Egypt's independence? The green stone sarcophagus of Nectanebo II is a fascinating object that continues to raise questions about the spiritual and political climate of ancient Egypt. Its unique material and the circumstances surrounding its discovery suggest that there is much more to uncover. Whether it symbolizes the pharaoh's connection to Osiris, an advanced stoneworking technique, or a repurposed burial item, this sarcophagus remains an enigmatic relic of Egypt's past. the answers may be buried beneath the sands of time, waiting for future generations to unearth and understand. As we leave behind the mysteries of Nectanebo II's green stone sarcophagus, we now turn our focus to one of the most unusual and perplexing discoveries in the ancient city of Amarna, an ancient royal city founded by Pharaoh Akhenaten during the 18th dynasty. Amarna, once the vibrant capital of Egypt, is home to some of Egypt's most intriguing and controversial archaeological finds, but perhaps none are as curious as the elongated skulls that were uncovered there. These skulls, some of which were discovered in royal tombs, have raised more questions than answers, and they continue to fascinate researchers and enthusiasts alike. Amarna, situated along the Nile River, was the city that Akhenaten constructed to honor his god, Aten, the sun disk. Akhenaten's reign was marked by his religious revolution, where he forsook Egypt's traditional pantheon of gods in favor of Aten, and his attempt to establish a new monotheistic faith. The city of Amarna was meticulously planned, with grand temples, royal palaces, and tombs. Yet, it is the discovery of the elongated skulls in this setting that stands out as one of the most baffling mysteries of ancient Egypt. These elongated skulls, several of which have been found in tombs believed to belong to the royal family, are unlike the typical skeletal remains that Egyptologists are accustomed to. The skulls exhibit abnormal cranial deformation, elongated oval-shaped crania that appear to have been intentionally altered. This type of cranial modification is not unique to Egypt. It has been seen in various cultures around the world, from South America to Europe. However, the presence of such skulls in Amarna raises more profound questions about the individuals they belong to, and their connection to the royal family and to Akhenaten himself. The discovery of these elongated skulls, particularly those found in the royal tombs, has sparked numerous theories. Some scholars suggest that these skulls may belong to a group of people who were part of a foreign population, potentially from a neighboring region or a different ethnic group. Akhenaten's reign was marked by extensive diplomatic relationships with other lands, including the Levant, Palestine, and regions farther to the north. Could these individuals have been part of Akhenaten's court, perhaps foreign dignitaries or envoys, who underwent the cranial modification as part of a ritual or cultural practice? However, there are also those who suggest a much more controversial theory, that the elongated skulls belong to members of the royal family or individuals closely associated with Akhenaten and his line. The unusual shape of the skulls could be linked to the royal lineage in some way, perhaps as a symbolic or divine trait, representing a connection to the gods. Some theorists have speculated that the elongation of the skulls could have been a result of genetic mutation, particularly given Akhenaten's known physical abnormalities, including his distinct appearance with a long, narrow face. Could the elongated skulls be a reflection of Akhenaten's own genetic lineage, marking a physical characteristic passed down through his family? Another theory, which delves into more speculative territory, suggests that these elongated skulls could indicate a form of ritualistic or even extraterrestrial influence. Some fringe theories propose that the elongated skulls are a sign of a more advanced, possibly non-human origin. The idea is that these individuals, with their unusually shaped heads, were perhaps not entirely human, but instead were the descendants of beings with an advanced intellect, or even extraterrestrial origins. While this theory remains unsubstantiated by evidence, it is an idea that continues to capture the imaginations of those intrigued by the unexplained. Mainstream archaeologists and Egyptologists, however, are more inclined to see these skulls as evidence of the ancient Egyptian practice of cranial modification, a custom that was carried out for various reasons, including aesthetics, social status, or even as part of religious or cultural rituals. In Egypt, such modifications were sometimes done to children, as it was believed that the shape of the head could reflect an individual's divine nature or social rank. Could the elongated skulls found at Amarna have been part of such a ritualistic practice, used to signify the elevated status of certain individuals within the royal court? Despite these various theories, the true purpose of the elongated skulls at Amarna remains unclear. What is certain, however, is that they represent a physical anomaly that cannot be easily explained by the standard narratives of ancient Egyptian culture. Whether they are the result of a foreign practice, a genetic trait, or something more fantastical, the skulls speak to a deeper mystery about the people who lived at Amarna and the royal family that once ruled from this city. As we stand before the remnants of Amarna, gazing at the sculptures, tombs, and artifacts left behind by Akhenaten and his followers, we are confronted with the strange presence of these skulls. What do they truly represent? Were they part of a broader cultural or religious practice? Or do they point to something deeper about the royal family's beliefs or origins? The mystery of the elongated skulls of Amarna is far from resolved, and the questions they raise linger in the shadows of Egypt's forgotten history, leaving us to wonder, what other secrets about Akhenaten's court and the people of Amarna remain hidden beneath the sands of time? The Book of Thoth, a legend of ancient Egypt, has captivated scholars, mystics, and adventurers for centuries. Thoth, the god of wisdom, writing, and magic, is said to have created the book, which contained the deepest secrets of the gods, including spells for eternal life, control over the cosmos, and understanding of the afterlife. Despite its importance, the book has never been found, and many believe it was lost to time. The origins of the Book of Thoth lie in Egyptian religious texts and myths, with the book believed to have been hidden away by the gods to protect its dangerous knowledge. In some versions, Thoth wrote the book after the creation of the world, recording the secrets of the universe and the ways of the gods. The book was said to contain immense power, granting the possessor divine knowledge, the ability to control the elements, summon spirits, and transcend life and death. The book was said to be hidden in a secret place, guarded by powerful forces. Over time, it became the subject of legend and folklore. Some texts suggest the book was stored in a temple, a hidden chamber, or a pyramid, sealed away to prevent misuse. The mystery of its location has led many to speculate that it is concealed beneath Egypt's sands, waiting to be uncovered, though some believe it may never be found. In ancient Egyptian literature, the Book of Thoth is mentioned in texts like the Emerald Tablets and the Westcar Papyrus. It is described as a source of power, but also a dangerous artifact. Those who sought it could gain knowledge but risked madness or destruction if they were unworthy. Despite its legendary status, no physical evidence of the book has been discovered. There are no surviving scrolls, tablets, or manuscripts explicitly claiming to be the book, and no inscriptions describing its contents. The absence of any tangible proof raises the question, did the book truly exist? Or is it just a myth? Some scholars believe the Book of Thoth may have been symbolic, representing the ancient Egyptians' belief in the power of written language and wisdom. Instead of being a physical object, the book could symbolize the vast body of knowledge passed down through sacred texts, rituals, and teachings. In this view, the book was not meant to exist as a physical artifact, but as a concept, embodying the sacred and unknowable aspects of the divine. Other theories suggest that the book was a real physical object, hidden away by the priests of ancient Egypt to prevent its power from falling into the wrong hands. Some believe the book is still hidden in a forgotten tomb or buried deep beneath the desert sands. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, adventurers and treasure hunters sought the book, hoping to unlock its secrets. Although none succeeded, the belief in its existence continues to capture imaginations. More fringe theories propose that the Book of Thoth may not be a physical object at all, but rather a mystical or metaphysical text, one that cannot be accessed through ordinary means. Some proponents of these theories argue that the book holds the key to unlocking advanced knowledge about the nature of reality, the universe, and even time. Could the Book of Thoth be a lost work of cosmic significance, linked to extraterrestrial knowledge? Could its power only be understood by those who are spiritually or intellectually prepared? The disappearance of the Book of Thoth remains a central mystery in the study of ancient Egyptian knowledge. Could the book contain the most sacred secrets of the ancient Egyptians, hidden away to protect them? Or could it be a symbolic representation of a deeper understanding of life, death, and the cosmos that remains beyond our grasp? As we ponder the fate of the Book of Thoth, we are left with more questions than answers. If the book existed, where could it be? Why has it remained hidden for so long, and what might its discovery reveal about ancient Egyptian understanding of the universe? Perhaps the Book of Thoth is not lost forever. Perhaps it is still waiting to be discovered by those ready to unlock its mysteries. Or perhaps it will remain a legend, an unexplainable part of Egypt's vast and unknowable past. The answer, as with many aspects of ancient Egyptian history, may never fully be known, leaving us to wonder what secrets still lie hidden beneath the sands. As we delve deeper into the fascinating world of ancient Egyptian funerary practices, we focus on one of the most perplexing aspects of mummification, the unexplained chemical preservation found in certain mummies. Over the centuries, many mummies have been uncovered across Egypt, offering insights into the Egyptian belief in the afterlife and their meticulous burial practices. Some mummies, however, stand out for their extraordinary preservation, far beyond what is expected from the traditional mummification process. These mummies exhibit remarkable chemical preservation, keeping their skin, hair, and internal organs in pristine condition, even after thousands of years. One famous example can be found in the tombs of the New Kingdom, particularly in the Valley of the Kings. The mummies of pharaohs like Ramses II and his successors have been remarkably preserved. Ramses II's body, for instance, was so well preserved that when examined in the 19th century, his skin and facial features were still visible, giving modern researchers a vivid picture of his appearance. But it's not just royal mummies that exhibit this exceptional preservation. Other high-ranking officials have also been found with surprisingly well-preserved bodies. So how do we explain this extraordinary preservation? The traditional mummification method involved removing internal organs, drying the body with natron, a naturally occurring salt, and wrapping it in linen. This elaborate and effective process helped preserve the dead. However, this method does not fully account for the chemical preservation observed in some mummies, particularly those found in tombs sealed for millennia. Why do some mummies show such a high degree of preservation, while others, even from the same period, appear much more decayed? One common explanation is the environmental factors surrounding the tombs. Egypt's dry, arid climate helps prevent the growth of bacteria and microorganisms that would decompose the body. The temperature and lack of humidity complement the mummification process, slowing the natural decay of organic material. Some tombs, particularly those in the Valley of the Kings, are carved deep into rock, creating a consistent, dry environment that may have aided preservation. However, some mummies have been found in tombs that were less ideal for preservation, having been subjected to flooding, looting, or other disturbances, which would hasten decomposition. Yet, these mummies remain inexplicably well preserved, with their skin and organs defying typical decay. Could there be something else at play beyond environmental factors and traditional mummification methods? One theory suggests that the ancient Egyptians may have unknowingly used natural chemical preservatives in the materials used during mummification. Some researchers point to the use of resins, oils, and other substances with potential preservative properties that may not have been fully understood but were intuitively incorporated into embalming rituals. The Egyptians used plant-based resins and oils, but the exact chemical reactions involved remain a topic of study. Could these substances have created an additional layer of chemical preservation, enhancing the mummification process? Another hypothesis posits the possibility of advanced, lost embalming techniques. Some fringe theories speculate that the Egyptians may have discovered chemical preservation methods far beyond current understanding. Could they have had knowledge of organic chemistry or preservation techniques that were lost after their civilization's decline? Though speculative, this theory raises questions about how much of ancient Egypt's knowledge has been lost to history. Adding to the intrigue are mystical explanations. Some suggest that the preservation of certain mummies might be due to divine intervention or spiritual factors. The Egyptians believed the body was essential for the soul's journey to the afterlife, and some mummies, particularly those of pharaohs, were thought to be divinely protected. Could these mummies have been preserved not only through physical methods but also through mystical means, ensuring their intactness for eternity? These theories reflect the deep spiritual significance the Egyptians placed on death and the afterlife. The unexplained chemical preservation in some mummies remains an enduring mystery. While environmental and chemical factors offer some answers, they do not fully explain the exceptional preservation observed in certain mummies. Were the Egyptians using unknown methods or substances to enhance mummification? Or is there a deeper mystery still hidden beneath the sands of time? As we examine these well-preserved bodies, we are reminded that despite our advances in science, much about the ancient world remains unknown. What secrets about Egypt's embalming practices and preservation techniques remain to be discovered? The mystery continues, urging us to explore what may still lie beneath the surface.